folks. He knows there's a spot they're likely to have some foot traffic around, and he can take them down. But the fact that they come through with next to nothing backing it up, it was what, 2 Bulldogs? And
two
then you're down to
3
Sheriffs?
That was it.
And they're able to come out winning every single duel, and in some instances, maybe it's overextension from T1, having Zeta up close and going out for the swing, but even still, that's ground that I think he's entitled to fight for. A ridiculous beginning to this, and T1, they're going to start sweating pretty soon. They can't allow Foot to just run away with this after a promising beginning.
Yeah.
They haven't got anything to work with in this round. It's going to be the same as before with B, just denying the info, taking the space.
So that's something I really wanted to look into with this team, is sort of why they struggled versus their opponents. And a lot of it came down to the opening duels versus the duelists on the other side. Kang and Artis having a field day versus T1. Kiwi, well, he's going to kick things off once again. Sire player, though, he's there. And Ban's found one with a pistol. Every single round becoming competitive so far. Is this one going to settle on their side? And they almost managed to get rid of Mr. Fallen.
Yeah, that was the recovered rifle, and look at Saya. They got this orb to start the round out. Got the Blade Storm online, and that has been rewarded tenfold. Just Mr. Fallen, 56 HP. And although he finds the first, he is left on 1.
He lost 55.
That's a tough situation. Headshot needed onto Ban at least. They've got the angles here, a bit more damage, but that's all that will be found. As finally, T1 are on the board. Not in the round I expected it either.
They didn't think we would give up.
No, again, there's a reason it's very easy to highlight Sire player. The Blade Storm just taking over this one, and again, even with the changes to this map, we're seeing them very heavily lean in towards this B side. I feel like that's where the true strength of this Harbor Viper is. We'll see if they're going to have some adaptations to throw things into A, but if you look at where they're initially setting up once again, well, it looks like Moj might be about to come under the same pressure again this round.
Well, by the looks of it, yeah. And they're not changing it up as the barriers go up. Same approach, the same old wall on its way. Jet following up on it. Saya looks to claim some more scalps. Look at Foot's response, falling back and indeed conceding the entirety of this site. Players in the spawn, and that's about as close as they're going to be. The same attempt at spamming through, and it's done some good damage. Yeah, Ban is down pretty low, but they can be healed. And safe to plant inside of that cove. Viper's pit down for the post plant.
He's going to stay in it, I think.
Yeah.
Lockdown being utilized, but he doesn't want to give up that pit. KO ult's gone through on the other side as well, so it will be the detain for Zeta. But he's able to hold on for the moment. Even still, though, initial frag goes the way of Kiwi's doing one, but Coffee just gets 2 through the pit. A little bit more for him as well. One more standing, a potential ace. But he's just playing passive this time, not looking to get over-aggressive. You know he wants that final kill. We'll hear the tap onto the spike, but it's not quite there. And Moj is going to try and close it, but instead, it's Sire player. A huge round for Carpe, a highlight on the desk. And well, you've just witnessed the reason why.
Well, I think this is where Foot are going to start to get worried. That B site's being pressured again and again down B long. They're pushed out of B long. They're pushed out of B site. And on the way back through, the fights have not been pretty. And you got to give credit to Carpe, though. The fact that he's able to find that space, even checking on the spike, seeing that it's not being diffused. This round was entirely his. But on the back of Zeta, turning around and obviously tanking the lockdown, keeping the pit online and giving them that angle to fight from. They couldn't even punish him once he fell back into the corner. It's a really nice response from T1. And this time, a big difference from how this attacking side is approaching the early round. And in the same way, a big difference in Foot's approach. 4 players on B early. That has left them very light elsewhere on the map. And unfortunately, well, elsewhere is where T1 are bringing it.
Unless they're about to use an orbital strike to deny this, there's not really much they can put in the way. Now, to put things into perspective, Foot, in the past, even before the changes, got the majority of their rounds on that defensive side. So the fact that this is already looking pretty good for T1, the map changes allow you to get more defender side rounds in general, with that side being easier to lock out with an afterplant already. It's a question of how much Foot actually want to throw into this one. Now, they do have a bit of reserve cash, and for the other side of things, it depends how many orbs you want to sort of hand over to T1, but that's a damn good start. Carpe gone.
Yeah, he tried to sneak past the smoke. A second player coming from this angle later. It's Munchkin, but he's going to be caught. Oh, but the shot doesn't hit. Mr. Fallen! Well, they've definitely stumbled on that play with Munchkin defending this tooth and nail. The lockdown will be destroyed. Just about, but look at the time that it's bought. That spike already diffused, ticking away quite far. It's half. They're going for it. They're trying to stick it all the way, but the spray from Ban saves the day.
Well, I was saying in the moment, is there going to be that use of the Orbiter Strike? And I'll be honest, I said it in jest. I didn't think there was any way they were going to throw that ult into the late stages of the round, but with the heroics of Mr. Fallen being able to do so much initially, and then the aggression to actually get rid of that lockdown, there was a real chance. Luckily, Ban was on the case once again. Definitely someone within this T1 roster that I feel like has been given an unfair amount of flack. His Jet's pretty good as well. Unfortunately, we're not going to be getting Fractured today. But for now, at least, we end up level. This is where the purchase comes back in, though, and that's where the Kiwi operator becomes a threat. That B site a little bit easier to hold down, but once again, we're now seeing T1 lean back in towards that A site. Real opportunities for a solid execute with all of the utility that they have, and Ban's util almost renowned for getting you into an afterplant.
Oh, much more shallow this time on the wall through, trying to link up with the ARC players and then push on the back of it. Saya player will only get the one, and Carpe actually caught on the way through. The Molly slowing them down on this and putting T1 in a pretty tough position. You still have a Viper's Pit to fight back in on the side of Foot. They need to take some space of their own, and that's exactly what they're looking for. Out of Captain in the corner. Oh. And although he's moving fast, he's not quick enough on his feet, but look at the HP of Ban. So incredibly low with Mods just trying to find him. And he'll locate that final kill, even save the op through to the next round.
Yeah, it wasn't bad from T1 considering how the initial fights went. Like, you obviously had the Reckoning thrown in, and there was one position that wasn't clear, but Ban was very much aware of it. But again, it just comes down to a couple of shots landed by Kiwi on the way back through, and solid utility actually coming out from Foot to sort of deny that initial space. They know that the composition from T1 revolves around afterplant. So you're going to use that Cove, you're going to use the High Tide to get you into position, and then just play those post plants with, snake bites, and everything that comes with the Killjoy kit. But if you don't allow them to get into that spot, which is something that Foot normally pretty good at, it can become a little bit easier for them. And now again, like, this is how close these rounds have been. 3 rounds in a row for T1, they lose 1, and financially in the bin. But I see Sire on a hero rifle, Mitch, and you know, there's always hope.
Well, that's kind of what you're talking about. Immediately starting the round off with aggression, and T1 have not been afraid to have those quicker starts to the round and pump the brakes later on. Now, a rifle potentially to be retrieved for this squad if they were to double up and move through this area, but actually, they're going all the way back to their spawn, moving around to be long, and sending Saya player walking, well, by the looks of it, on a flank of his own.
He's going forward.
He'll be seen. They'll check in on him a little bit later on. Kiwi, for now, has to move his way out of this B site. Concede control. That's been the name of the game for these B takes, but this time, Kiwi has something to say about it.
Yeah, he's left a teammate behind as well. I don't think Krax was expected. The flank from Sire will dome 1, but the trades are coming back thick and fast. Krax has done an incredible job at the back of the site, and well, it comes down to Sire. He needs an ace to win this round. Doesn't actually know where his opponent is lurking. Krax hiding on the backline, so spotted the other 2, but I think his life is on borrowed time. No, it seems like he read it for a second, but Krax has done the damage either way. A 4K for him, a little bit of a bait and switch in this round, and Foot are going to have their 5th on the defensive side. Now starting to build into it, as we sort of said.
You can see how scary this T1 squad is, though. I mean, if you imagine that was a full buy like we're seeing right here, not just the hero rifle for Saya, this guy managed to push straight up into door, grab an opening kill, and then had the flank as well.
The jet lurk.
It's literally just those players going on site don't have rifles. Krax has a better chance in most of the fights that he enters and is able to connect them. But one hiccup there, one stumble, the site falls, rifles are retrieved, your flank is still an issue late into the round, and Foot may have just stumbled on what was a very low buy. I think T1 can feel pretty confident with how they've been playing so far. This round here, though, another test. And that operator on Kiwi, it's caused a lot of trouble in the past. Pushing up on B, it won't be getting too much offered up just yet.
This as well is, again, we're starting to see that play through art. This is where, once more, we've seen Mr. Fallen put the majority of utility to try and hold on to some of that control. And it seems like on the other side of things, the only goal really of Zeta is to play into that late lurk. The thing is, though, they're so confident in Kiwi's position. Almost caught floating through the air. And that's a big kill. Now things get a little bit panicky as the rest go pushing in towards that site. But Moj, as you said, has caught the spike.
Yeah, they went elsewhere. You know, that was just a flank on B. The lurk late into the round. Bad's up close, and they haven't spotted him. Good repositioning. Spike retrieved, and as we said, you had that flanker, that lurker later into the round. Still, they're controlling the B site. Zeta's got it on lockdown. They can move that spike around. They're doing so a little bit slowly. It is allowing Foot to rotate into position, maybe be close by. And it's not like Zeta has anything to catch them off guard here. He's very much just holding this map control so they can get the plant in late round. It's a good pivot, a good recovery. Munchkin, he was so patient, but he's been spotted on the way back out.
I'm looking at that null command as well. Now they've spotted that flanker. Can potentially remove the util. The rest of the players, they know there's one in towards that back site, which likely means there's either one out towards long or back in on that lurk.
That's a great kill. They're starting to narrow down the angles, but they didn't know that Munchkin was still there. The ammo, the real issue here for Zeta. As Ada captain, definitely a smile on his face now as they are pushing that lead even further up.
Yeah, that literally just came down to a few bullets. Munchkin did an incredible job to find a couple of kills, but again, Foot are the ones on top, 6-3. And I'm not really surprised to see T1 pull in a tactical timeout, especially when you look at what they have on the board. 4 ultimates available, the Viper's Pit very close to being online as well. Even though this might be a weaker purchase for them in terms of their finances, this is one they can easily get things over the line.
Yeah, it's a good time to grab a breather. As we said, some of that early round aggression has been incredibly promising. So for this T1 squad, putting together the final pieces of the puzzle with 3 rounds left to compete for in the half, and it's certainly not out of their hands just yet. And as you said, Tom, Foot known for putting up those rounds on the defensive side. So this first half really is just about getting enough rounds on the board that it's workable when they swap over, when that defensive side is mounted.
Yeah, I don't think it's impossible for them to turn the tide. I think for Foot, obviously, I think this composition kind of allows them to have a solid util for the retakes and a lot of delay potential, which can be quite hard to play up against. I am going to be intrigued to see how it works on the attack, because I feel like in classic Foot style, they're going to have to be very direct, because the brim doesn't really allow for much else. But there's still a few rounds to go in this half, and for T1, the thing that excites me most, I'm seeing a Blade Storm on Sire player, which we've already witnessed once, is enough to win a round.
Yeah, and money problems, right? So you know for sure it's unlikely he's going to come through here with a full investment of anything crazy. Instead, it's going to be that Blade Storm look to try and recover on it. And that was one of the ways they got around on the board. Just this straight up aggression down B long, being able to completely mince up that defense. They'll look to do it again. Success found earlier around double doors, looking for more. But Kiwi's here this time, locking it down, operator in hand. They're wise enough to send out a Tiger first. It will meet that op shot.
That's almost a direct reaction to what he did last time. Like, they've seen him just burst his way through mid, so they've decided, okay, let's just put our most fearsome warrior there to hold on to those positions. Again, we're seeing this sneak up, this almost lurk through as they attempt to pincer in, and they've now spotted Sire in mid.
Yeah, at least 2 players coming from mid, and well, there were 2 coming from B long, but they've spotted them and taken them down. Maj up close is defending. And there's, wow, even players being dropped through the smoke. This couldn't have went much worse for T1. All of their info was found in the early round. Foot knew exactly what was happening, and their response was perfect, seeing the majority of the forces coming through double doors, so they look for the fight on B long, and then they can pivot with ease.
So he's got to get past an alarm bot, a nanoswarm, a turret, and a second nanoswarm. And that's just to get to the site. Information to be had already, insta rotation back.
30 seconds left.
There's not really anywhere for him to go at this point. The main thing will just be, can he cause any extra damage? Can he maybe get a plant for the extra finances? It's really not a good scenario. And in terms of the money on the other side, a flawless round would be perfect for the side of Foot. But we'll see if they're going to get it. 10 seconds left. He has to just run in at this stage and hope that he can get absolutely anything, and it will be the Prime Gaming flawless coming through for Foot.
Yeah, of course he knew Captain was there after the molly, so that's going to be the spot he's looking at. 7 rounds for Foot so far. It's been a very strong beginning to this map. Thing is, you know, sure, it's T1's map pick, but if they can at least push up to 5 by the end of this half, they've got the legs on them to stand tall as the series progresses, as the map progresses into half 2. Ultis are looking pretty good for the Foot side, though. Blade Storm, locked down. The Viper's Pit to work with, as well as Orbital Strike. I mean, they've got a bunch to fight for, and this is T1's buy round. Don't want to leave anything on the table.
I like this, though. T1 just going back to what was working. Faster pace hits, sending in Sire player as that initial fight, the Reckoning online. They've been farming up orbs throughout the game to get this all online just because of the space it builds up. They do have to be careful, though, because Foot have been very happy to just sit on the edge, spam through, and do so much damage, and it's worked out for them again. Carpe is going to be caught.
The lockdown's traded out as well. That might force some of these players to take a step forward in some circumstances.
As well.
But they've decided to fall on back, concede that control.
I call this around the Observer's Nightmare.
Yeah.
It's just every single ult just being spammed into position.
Viper's Pit went down, but so did Mr. Fallen. They've got to get on this spike pretty soon to force players out into the open, and there they are. They've spotted the whole squad, but there's too many bodies to take down. T1 holding strong. They've still got that utility to play behind, but Maj has got the angle up top. The smoke's holding off for just a few seconds longer. It could be long enough. Kiwi's close, and he'll get it across the line. Oh, a devastating round for T1. As the defuse right under their nose puts 8 rounds on the board for the side of Foot. Their defense looking undeniably strong.
I don't even know how many ults we saw in that round. I think it was all of them. Every single ult is now gone. Everybody invested absolutely everything. We saw Reckoning, Viper's Pit, lockdowns traded out. Both teams wanted this round more than absolutely anything, and Foot, they literally get it over the line off a defuse within a smoke. A Brimmy smoke at that, so I mean, no, they lost a while, but 8-3. I think many expected T1, especially on their map choice, to come out swinging, and they are getting decimated. What a shot by Kiwi to start. These rounds may have been close, but the scoreline definitely isn't.
He's been a menace with that operator early round, but hasn't needed to do a whole lot. It's players like Maj, like Captain, pulling it out later on. Krax, who's been an animal for spraying people down through smokes, well, he's finally gotten a little bit of karma coming his way. Flash ready. Carpe wants to punish. They know there's a player there, and they'll catch him through the wall. Great prediction from Carpe. The Kiwi not able to hit the shot with the op. Too many targets. All out in the open. He's got cover this time. A player up close, ready to help, and well, his help will certainly be needed. Mr. Fallen, is he going to swing out to realize these players have given up the control? Yes, they've moved towards the stairs where the spike is dropped. Maj has the cross, spotted both on the way around, and now they can just hold this together, or maybe not. They separate, and Munchkin isolates. 40 HP and 4 bullets. The spike down towards the stairs. He has to move. And in fact, it's his opponent that's moving first. Maj repositioning, maybe knowing that the spike is there, that he can catch a timing.
It's just all about the bait. Maybe expecting to be surrounded. Now Munchkin's going to be the one to go that little bit further forward, hoping to find his opponent, but eventually he has to make his move, has to go for this plant, and he's not going to be expecting him to be in that same position, desperately trying to find out where Maj is coming from, but instead he's just wrapped back into exactly the same spot, and he will land the shot. The only thing stopping Foot from dominating in this map is the curse. And well, to be honest, Mitch, it depends how much you believe in it.
That is a masterclass from Maj as well, closing out that in positioning in the 1v1. Beautifully played, and now 9-3 at the half for the side of Foot. This couldn't have went much better. I mean, hell, even some of the rounds that T1 getting off the back of individual prowess, someone like Saya on the Blade Storm tearing it up. Kiwi, Saya head-to-head, not as impressive as you thought. Wow, see what the desk makes of this lead.
Thank you so much for that, fellas. And wow, FUT defying all expectations with a hot start on Pearl. But let's jump straight, though, to our Verizon high-speed moment, because you got to give it to Ada Captain. This guy has been absolutely amazing this game. And Baby Bay, I think that, you know, we were talking about it before being that emotional leader. We're also seeing him frag.
I mean, yeah, imagine just peeking and one-tapping somebody. But it's not even just that. It's like, obviously getting a 3K as the emotional leader is great and all, but the utility to isolate the guy from backhaul and to be able to take this fight in general and just get the trade right here after, it's beautiful. Then he wins the 1v1, right? And who better than having it be your you know, spiritual leader in the game? Look at him, he's hyped. He's already hyped, going crazy on him. So
massive to have that guy online, getting the energy up for this team. But baby, we were both talking about how good T1's mid-rounding was in the pre-match here. But for T1, so much of this map was just these hard executes. It was super passive from FUT, always playing into these flood retakes. And I think it just worked so well with this Brim comp. It almost plays really similarly to the Icebox Brim comps that we used to see last year. And I think the player in particular that is finding strength in a lot of those situations has been Cracks. We had questions of how this KO would play against mid-rounding, but they never really had to do that. Instead, it felt like T1 was letting FUT play into the strengths of this comp, which was these flood retakes with the Brim smokes going up and the KO flashes to get out.
Yeah, T1 didn't try to bait really much of any utility in that half, and it's like you have this guy, you have the Harbor to take all these things like slowly and try to bait out those Brim smokes, because he only has 3, right? And even the KO flashes, he only has 2 flashes and 1 knife, right? So it's like, I don't know why or what, but maybe they thought they had a hard read and, you know, they got countered a bit.
And now they have this massive advantage at the half. 9-3, they converted the bonus to begin. They've looked good on pistol rounds in the half. T1 is going to have to do something huge to rally here on the defensive side, but New Pearl is quite defense-sided.
Yeah, well, let's see if 9-3 is enough and send it back to the casters.
9 rounds so far, starting this out, as we've heard. FUT in prime position to close this out. T1's map pick, though, and now they're on the defense, a side where I think they'll be a little bit more comfortable. Saya's been looking good all the way through. There's certainly some signs of hope. The fact that so many of these rounds have come close as well. They're not down and out just yet, but they're certainly down for now.
I like that.
Starting out this pistol.
It's an insta KO nade just to try and clear that corner as they peek into mid, hoping to try and force someone out into the fight and almost bait their opponents into believing that that's the direction they've gone. In fact, instantly Carpe's going to have to use the Skydog, the Tiger, to clear out some position. The fact is, though, T1 have a great read here.
Yeah, Saya player's flank should be perfect, but it's going to take a while to come through. The players on site will have some trouble holding it down. One wall goes through. This is going to section them all around the backside. Low HP, though, on Munchkin. He doesn't really want to fight, but it'll be forced on him anyways. Good opening for Kiwi. Just look at Saya player. He snuck past the turret. He put his cloudburst up, and now they have no idea that he is sneaking his way through. That's an awkward fight. It's bought time, given an opportunity. Perhaps Kiwi can win that fight now if he wasn't crunched on, if there wasn't support here to play with. We're back down to a 2v3. Low HP on a lot of FUT players. The spike has to be defused, and time is on their side. They can swing out one at a time, or they can go all together. Double digits found for FUT.
Yeah, that might just be the nail in the coffin for map number 1. For so far ahead, and even this round where there was multiple players within the site, it just seems like they did a better job of being able to trade out those kills. Maj as well, just having an absolutely star-studded performance. I believe normally playing the Killjoy more so on this map, but his Vipers look damn good. Well, maybe just more so on the individual side of things rather than purely off the util. 10-3 up. Not going to be much of an investment at all. A Marshall thrown in, a chance for Saya to maybe do a little bit of damage. On the other side, it is just going to be this almost trap setup into B.
Now we'll see if the reward is there. A kill, just one to be found to start this off. The Marshall already going to be eliminated. That is very little fight in the side of T1 for this round. And at least Munchkin's able to grab another kill, make it more costly. But with 30 HP, his chances of doing that again are pretty low. And for the side of FUT, inching ever closer to victory on their opponent's map pick, you do have to wonder for Munchkin, maybe that Bulldog, it could even be worth bringing it through to the next round, but being so far behind, maybe they'll put stock in the 1v3.
Yeah, at this point, he's going to be able to buy a Vandal Phantom in the next round anyway, so might as well just throw this one in for some extra damage. Maybe try and get an AWP, but Kiwi is ready and waiting. 11-3. FUT taking this one further and further away from their opponents, and if there was going to be any fight back, Mitch, it kind of has to be now. And you know what? Good time for a pause.
Yeah, this is going to be another T1 timeout that's running dry on that side. Means they've got to make the comeback happen from this point forward pretty flawlessly without help from the coaching staff, unless Foot decide to have a word. It's going to be tough looking at this situation because it is definitely a series where 11-3 does not feel like a fair scoreline, not representing the level of fight that T1 brought to the table, but they just weren't able to close out those rounds, and that's what's going to leave you here.
It's an interesting one because by all expectations, this is going to be a rematch of the decider. Like, everybody sat there going, okay, EG are going to take this group, FPX are going to finish last in this group, and the other two teams are going to fight twice. Like, that's the way this kind of sits right now. So for Foot to be dominating this far ahead, it definitely makes things a little bit more interesting, seeing if they'll maybe come up against EG a little bit later on. But I think for both of these teams, coming into this tournament, a real opportunity to make it top 8 at Champions, I think that's something that they need to grasp with both hands. And for T1, wow, this being their map choice, this being somewhere they felt would be a home turf versus Foot, and being smashed in the way that they are, there needs to be a bit of a response here. And with the rifles on board, this is where you hope they'll step up.
Yeah, and as well, you know, recent memory for T1 on the international stage, certainly not great, although you can say that for a lot of these teams coming in, but a squad that beat EDG and then was eliminated by them shortly after.
Yeah.
Demolished, exactly. And so they're looking for their own little story this time around. The A site is under threat. Foot already having dashed in, taken space. There's some weaknesses here. 2 pistols in play.
Do they vibe this bit?
The rifles taking the fight, and Munchkin who's winning them. A quick double, and this could be the best chance for T1 so far. The only downside is that Viper's Pit.
Yeah, they've actually used it. Even in this scenario where they're down a couple of men, well, make that just one. Moj just managed to find another. The Snakebite will buy some extra time, but he is not sitting still. He's gone moving all the way around. A decent position held, though, by Carpe. Just waiting on the other side, trying to find an entry back in, but Moj has found him as well. Having a lights-out game so far. Finally, Munchkin will respond, and now it's left all onto Mr. Fallen. Only a pistol in hand, but some low HP players, not this time, though. The time ticking relatively low, but they will be able to get themselves their 4th.
They will indeed. Another round on the board for T1, and at long last, this could be the start of their way back in. But, you know, the weaponry wasn't the best on the side of Foot. Sure, they use a Viper's Pit, but this time they'll come in with full rifles, and the real test is about to be there for T1 as well. This opening from Munchkin, you can't rely on that happening every single time, but it looked good.
I think the other thing as well is just you're seeing the sheer confidence that Foot have on the stage. That they have always been a team that once the momentum is rolling, they could beat anyone. They're like literally anyone. They've taken maps off Fnatic over in EMEA when they played them in one of the earlier series. So the fact that they were in a 3v5 throwing in a Viper's Pit kind of proves to you that the confidence is overflowing at this stage. And now you kind of look at the buyback on the other side. Sure, you have that Blade Storm again. Carpe's weaponry a little bit lower. We'll see what Foot had to offer. A little bit of a slower default. A lurk held by Mr. Fallen, just watching for any space being taken by that defensive side. And it has been. Mid is where the pressure is currently being spotted for. And Mozetta is definitely going to see that smoke utilized and have a little bit of extra info for his team.
Killjoy utility pulled back. I thought maybe that'd be the window for Saya player to go on that flank he's been waiting for, but instead shifting back towards the B side. The orb was taken, and so Mr. Fallen had the lockdown to work with. It's on the floor to buy them space on B. Oh, space that will be undeniable as they waltz their way into this site. Choice of where to plant is very much theirs. They still haven't gone for the plant yet. I mean, there's a lot of time for this T1 squad to get back in here, go for spams, especially with such an open plant spot. It's worked out, but you're going to be caught by the flash on the way through. Players spotted moving towards the elbow. That's where T1 wanted to fight for a moment, but Zeta and Carp both down. Ban falls too. Blade Storm blinded in the open, and that is only going to leave Munchkin. Had some great rounds already, but not this time. It would be a miracle to pull out that 1v4. 12 on the board for Foot. And they now have 8 chances to close out their opponent's map pick. Haven up next. And, well, look, we got a lot of questions about Haven, actually. But Ascent as a closer, that's a Turkish map if ever I've seen one.
God, well, the fact that Foot are happy to go back to Haven after losing it 3 times in a row says that what we're going to see in the next map, well, I'm hoping we won't see their Gecko. I'll be honest with you. I'm hoping that's gone. But the fact that this is as dominant as it is, I think, is more surprising to anyone. We've had some crazy games yesterday, incredibly close ones at that, but this has been anything but. 12-4, a build into this B site once again. The weaponry even worse than the last time out. Munchkin sat at the back of the site with a lockdown and a judge. The rest of the team nowhere to be seen. In fact, Sire's gone all the way up mid, but he's going to be no help in this round.
Now Walkabout going to take a while to come through. Player like Munchkin may be able to find value. If someone from Foot overextends, what was that? A collateral? Oh, well, now that judge is certainly looking a little worse for wear towards this elbow. They're going in, though. They've given him the control, and the fight is his. The lockdown online, and he can defend this. Pushing back in's not a good idea. In fact, they won't get anywhere close to it. Kiwi caught in the open, and we're back down to not just the way back through for T1, but the man advantage to work with as well. It won't last too long without a captain. The trade out is good for Mr. Fallen, and he'll close it at that. Foot with 13-4. Their opening map in Los Angeles could not have gone much better. If this is a sign of what's to come, it's going to be a pretty quick series.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I came into this tournament looking at the first couple of days, looking at the matches that we had, and I thought, okay, this is going to be the most competitive of the lot. 2 teams that finished in a similar position in Tokyo, 2 teams that basically looked like they were at a similar level. And, well, Foot have come in and, let's just put it this way, one team was better from head to foot. They absolutely destroyed them in this map. Moj having an incredible map, and someone like Carpe, I believe Carpe got a 4K in one of the rounds. He got a single kill for the rest of the game. This needs to be a big, big turnaround for them going into map number 2.
Oh yeah, a completely different squad needs to walk out on that stage. A 13-4 scoreline, it's not something that any team wants to see. Even if that's your permaban, you'd expect a little more coming out of them. And that's a big deal now for this squad of T1. As they go backstage to discuss their opponent's pick of Haven, the final map of Ascent that might be played out. There's going to be a lot of notes given from the coaching staff. And to be honest, you know, some of these rounds were incredibly close, like we said, but
it started that way in some of the earlier. Like, there was a back and forth. It seems like all of the clutches were going Foot's way, other than like maybe a blade storm coming out from Sire. Either way, I think we're going to be throwing this one off to the break. We'll be back to map number 2.
When you play an actual ranked game, it's 50 minutes, but how much are you actually shooting? With Aim Labs, you can compete in over 1,000 tasks that will prepare you for any scenario in any game. So the new ranked season, you play, you get points, you can compare yourself to your friends. With Aim Labs' new one-to-one Valorant maps, you get instant feedback on how to get better crosshair placement, better peak efficiency. You can also instantly modify existing tasks with Discovery. Get started today by downloading Aim Labs for free and join millions of other satisfied players.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What a dream start for Foot. I'm joined by their coach, Gaius, and Scala, who's going to be doing some translations. Now, Gaius, we saw some changes from your team on Pearl. Nothing new, you guys like to change your comp throughout the season, but your opponents, T1, they still have not changed their comp once this entire year. So for you as a coach, in terms of preparation, do you feel like that made it easier and made them a little bit more predictable today?
Guys, yani direkt söyleyebilirsin, tamamdır.
Yani biz EMEA'dayken kompları rakibe göre sadece bir Navi'ye göre değiştirmiştik açıkçası. Ama çok kolay okunabilir mi? Yani aynı kompla başka taktikler de ortaya çıkabiliyor. O yüzden de açıkçası bu soruya tam olarak evet veya hayır diyemem. Ama sadece EMEA zamanında sadece Navi'ye karşı komp değiştirmiştik. Onun haricinde hiçbir takıma biz ekstradan komp değiştirmedik. Ve T1'da ekstradan bir komp değiştirmediği için nasıl duygular içinde olduğunu anlayabiliyorum. Ve her zaman aynı kompla çok daha fazla şey çıkabiliyor ortaya.
We haven't changed our compositions that much throughout the year. We had changed it against Navi during EMEA. And in terms of like answering your question, I cannot give a definitive answer because sometimes you can just employ different tactics using the same comp. So I can say that I can feel exactly, I know exactly how they feel. Sometimes you change stuff, sometimes you don't change stuff, but the outcome is the same. So yeah, like in terms of predictability, I cannot say something specific. But yeah, that is it.
Well, thank you very much, guys. You guys had a great start, and thank you very much, Scala, for translating. Let's see if Foot can close this out.
Always good to hear there from the coach from FUT. And, you know, I think, wait, Mimi, why do you have so many?
Dude, I'm having a good time.
Why are you having a good time?
Foot won. They only got one international win before. The series is over, dude. It's done.
You're calling the series right
you
now.
want to have some fun, right? Like, it's a party. We should be celebrating. This is a big moment for Foot. It's been a while since a Turkish team has been this competitive on an international stage.
Sure,
Like,
okay. That was actually not planned. I should put this pen away before I lose that like a clown. My clown
it's a happy
wig.
moment.
Okay, you know what?
Are you not
Here,
happy?
crowd, have fun with it. Go nuts. That's for
you. Guys believers?
That's for you.
Hopefully
Go
so.
nuts. What's the worst that could happen, right? Anyway, guys, let's go ahead. No, I think that's how T1 was feeling going into this
seriously,
one.
like,
yes.
like Foot just dominated them. They've got a shark out on stage. Foot has never had more fun. They're already celebrating too. Why shouldn't I?
The vibes are immaculate. Right?
I am perplexed as to, like, when you look at the compositions, when you look at how this game played out, baby, you wouldn't necessarily have thought that it would work out the way that it did. But the fact that Foot just completely dismantled T1, I don't think anyone had that on their bingo card.
No, definitely. I think that T1 actually couldn't have played more into Foot's hand. Like, I actually think the entire way they approached this whole
And how
map,
so?
Well, just trying to rush into sites against a comp that is meant to like have heavy retakes and heavy floods. You know, like they didn't try to like work the map in certain ways. The one round they did came down to what, a 1v3 at a Kaplan, and like, you know, like that was the best chance they had in the round. So.
And one of the other reasons that's so rough to not be playing the mid-round is because you look at this comp. Normally you have Sky that's regenerating. You have Harbor who has a regenerating wall. With KO, you only have 2 flashes that are never coming back. With Brim, you only have 3 smokes that are never coming back. So you need to take your time on the attack to bait out that utility, or you're just going to be running into the strengths of your opponent's composition, and that's exactly what happened to T1.
Yeah, that's rough as well, right? Because you see the composition that T1 busted out, and you think this is going to be fine. You know, this is like the bog standard of what we've seen on Pearl, and then to just get shut down the way that they did. And it wasn't even, I mean, yes, of course, compositions were a problem, but also they were snapping. They were hitting those shots. Speaking of hitting shots, that actually takes us right over to our aim lab shoot around. Look at that transition as we go to Mr. Fallen's POV. But let's just continue, though, Baby Bay, to talk a bit more about what we've seen from Foot, because it really was a dismantling. And now you have to ask yourself, how does this T1 team get back into it? But more importantly, how does Foot prevent that from happening? Because it really feels like they're riding a high at this point.
I think Foot's just like I think they're actually gonna take it from here, because I think that they're just flowing so well right now. Like their energy, everybody across the board is popping off. You had Kiwi just dashing into people because he's really feeling it now. You know, you had Captain just going brazy on the retakes, and then
Maj had like what, 30 clutches.
The Viper he clutched like 4 times.
it was ridiculous what he managed to pull off. So many of these players just seemed confident, comfortable. And Tom was talking about this right at the end of the cast, but Foot is a team that in the past have struggled with mental issues, with it going down and not really being able to get that energy back in. But when this team starts strong, when they get that momentum, it is so incredibly hard to shut them down. So T1 are really going to have a big task on map 2.
Yeah, they definitely are here as we get ready for this upcoming map. We're going to be moving on to Haven for map number 2. And, you know, I guess looking at this one here, this is a great opportunity now, Mimi, for this team to be able to close this one out. And, oh, we're getting some Gecko. Love to see it.
Yeah, Foot has been playing this, so not a huge surprise in the Prime Gaming Agent Select, but they play this comp really well. The main thing I'm looking at is when they switch to the attacking side, how predictable are they? Because with this Gecko, I felt like they were really often telegraphed with how they were using Dizzies on the execute, and better teams were punishing that. But they start on defense, where I think they play this comp really well, especially for the retakes that were so great in map 1, Baby Bay.
Yeah, and I thought that T1 getting attack on a lot of these maps would be an advantage to them, but after watching how they played that attack on Pearl, I'm not confident in that anymore. And I just feel I hope I get to see them work a little bit more of the maps. Even though this is a completely different map and it's played differently, I still think that they need to find these timings and try to get the utility out a little bit, you know, before they decide to pick a site and hit it. Because I think that the game plan of Foot right now, they just read them perfectly.
It has to be Zeta to bring this team back. The IGL, he has been shown to have adaptability, to be able to go for these fast executes and also slow the game down and work the map. They need to play into that mid-rounding, which has been a strength for T1 in the past, but I think they really failed to harness on Pearl.
Yeah, and without a doubt, there's going to be like you know, the nerves, right? The caution that T1 had probably a bit more while they were playing certainly could maybe lead to them feeling a bit overwhelmed with the moment here. They're going to need to shut down this Foot team early.
Think of what these players have accomplished in the past. You have champions from different games. You have players who have had already storied careers here in Valorant. To go out early, to go to the lower bracket in Champions, the biggest tournament, after all the improvements you've had this year, would be a massive disappointment for T1. So the pressure is on right now for them to recover in the second map.
100%. All eyes are going to be on T1, but can Foot close it out in 2? Let's send it back over to Mitch and Tom for the call.
Well, it's been an incredible start to Foot's run here in Los Angeles, but it isn't over yet. Now it's their map choice, and we are certainly not slowing down. The side of T1 had a lot of fast-paced takes, and kicking off this map, it's just the same. Saya denied that early fight, though. The Cloudburst not going to stay up for long. Their safe haven deteriorating. Out of Captain falls, too. Maj putting up a good performance, but not good enough. It's left down to the Gecko of Cracks. And Tom, we've seen Gecko quite a bit. It hasn't been something to write home about for the side of Foot so far.
I don't even know if he'll use any of it. Just needs to land the shots. And that's where Crack seems to do his best work. If you didn't have enough of the Foot clutches in the last map, well, they're right back in a 1v2 to kick things off. I believe from the last map, they had some like 80+% 4v5 conversion rate. It's truly unbelievable what this team is able to do. And right off the bat, that confidence is off the charts. Now, one of the things is, I agree with the desk. I think the initial showing of this composition of Gecko was great. Like when they were playing it in EMEA, it looked strong. Then they tried to bring it to the international stage, and they got bullied, like even losing to attacking Sol, which on this map. So I'm waiting to see if they have managed to adapt, find anything new. But I'll be honest, at the moment, it hasn't really looked like they've needed to throw in anything new versus the side of T1. They have been able to win out a lot of these gunfights just off individual brilliance.
Very much so. The clutches, look, if they're going to continue to go Foot's way, then yeah, you can write this series off. T1 got to start to feel deflated. Got 4 rounds so far in the series. We move on to the second here, and it's, you know, a decent bit of fighting potential. 4 sheriffs for the side of T1. They're already getting up close, looking for some opportunities. Found some, not converted. And shot after shot landing for Kiwi. That Marshall dangerous in a round like this. Nobody has shields. So you just shred straight through them. Interesting that you have even flank attempts coming through. This isn't the kind of round where I'd expect players to try to get behind with weapons like a Bulldog, but it will pay off.
Yeah, no, they don't even take any damage throughout the entirety of this round. Very clean from the side of Foot. Now, the last couple of times T1 played this map, it was versus EDG, and they definitely struggled to pin down the likes of Can. Well, whether or not you rate Kiwi quite as highly, he definitely has the same confidence. I don't think anybody's going to question that amount. This is an important round. Still a few weapons to play with here for Foot, but ultimately this is where T1 should get right back onto the board. And I'm liking this. We're seeing this more from Cracks. A lot of early mollies just instantly being popped. Same happened on the last map as well.
Foot really like to go for those spams, huh? Through every smoke that they can possibly find. And yeah, some decent damage starting it off. Saya player next to no shields. But it's only a little tickle. The third round sees T1 play it slow, waiting for that aggression to come out from Foot, waiting for Maj perhaps to go walkabouts on middle, like we saw towards the end of the previous round. But as we said, this is a squad that, despite many conversations around their fundamentals previously, I think their discipline has improved a lot. I mean,
since the early days, definitely.
Yeah, right?
Go back to the VLRs, yeah, definitely.
It's a much better face to this squad.
Well, a minute gone. A bit less to play, but this is where the execution's going to come through again. Saya leading the charge, and he will find that opener. Maj unable to do too much, but his teammates at least trying to trade things back. This time, though, a little bit of damage to Carpe, but other than that, they've kept things relatively clean. And the only interesting really thing when we talk about compositions for these two teams, it's not so much about change of agents, it's change of personnel. Watching the switch up of Adacaptain taking over that controller. The same for Carpe, taking over Sentinel. Slight role switches, but nothing different in terms of what agents are actually being run. For now, Kiwi, anything he can find will be nice, but Carpe is going to land that shot and a much cleaner start to this second map for T1, as they will get themselves around with 4 players alive.
Yeah, we're still seeing the same thing. We heard from Baby Bay over on the desk that, this squad of T1, playing into Foot's hands a little bit, just all-out aggression, bursting their way into sites, and the composition previously ran. Foot were able to respond every single time, and then adding in the fact that this is a squad that likes to concede space and take you down with wall bangs on the way through, or even just shots through the smoke. We saw that same thing from T1 here, bursting into A, taking the control. Although in a map like Haven as well, you're certainly going to get your reward for that.
Yeah. They were a little more patient, though. That's the thing. It wasn't like instant in the round. They had time for some of that utility to be burnt out, so slight adaptation. This time, though, it is direct. Very direct indeed. The first 20 seconds of the round may have gone, but already into the site they go. And, well, you mentioned smoke spams. There's one apiece. Yeah,
Maj managed to catch them on the way through. That's the problem. They knew where he was spamming from, and well, a lucky shot on the return gets them the reward. Flash for right side, but no follow-up. They're not looking to take that control, but they have spotted the operator around here. It's good information to play with. Thrash on the way through, and it catches nobody. They've sidestepped it completely. Not going to be retrievable in its current position. Adacaptain falls, and T1, they are in with a serious chance now, locking these players out of control. A quick double kill. It doesn't seem to be enough. Ooh. Even if that shot was connected for Kiwi, it would be a tough clutch. But with 2 opponents still standing, it's time to get out of there.
Yeah, good work from them. The ultimate as well from the side of Foot, not really placed in a position. I think the only players that actually could have caught were his own teammates if it went a little bit deeper. Opportunities to find something with that, but T1 have managed to hold on in their post plants, already looking a little bit cleaner in that regard. And for Foot in this next round, it's going to be interesting, because you've got Kiwi 1 away for a Blade Storm. A kill for him could put him onto the board. And on the other side of things, full rifles, a decent economy already being built up. This is a chance for T1 to actually take the lead in this series.
Certainly the feeling of recovery for that squad if they can make it across this line. Very weak weaponry all across the board. It's Kiwi they have to avoid. And if they can do that in the early round, and that's already half the task out of the way. Stuns, 1 apiece. It's slowed T1 slightly, but it has ultimately denied Kiwi's opening aggression. He wanted to be here with that operator. He wanted to be taking the fight down on short. Instead, look at where Foot are forced to go. Right out of the site. Playing way back. Kiwi's still good for 1. But again, it comes down to the weaknesses that are backing him up on this hold. Really nothing to work with, and if it's that not the operator finding the kill, the chances go way down.
Yeah, he's got the Blade Storm for the next round, so was willing to take a risk, and a risk being taken by the entire squad. They've thrown in the lockdown here. Zeta trying to hold on the edge of it, and he's actually going to get 2 with the spam? I thought maybe 1 at best. Okay, sure, he's going to go down, but he's already cost the entirety of the round. Cracks again, going to reduce the finances brought through, and you know what? Mr. Farland should get out of there with an operator. Considering the investment, it's not too bad, but more importantly, I'm liking the gall of Zeta. A little bit more aggression, a little bit more up in the faces of Foot, something that I think was missing in the previous map. And well, they are going to get themselves the lead for it.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, in a round like that, you think that without the Hunter's Fury, there's nothing that Zeta can do to get value out of the lockdown, but, wow, certainly does it. Leaving it down to the literal last second as well to go for that spray and catches both of them. That's got to be so frustrating. Because, look, if it wasn't for those kills, you see the potential there, even in the 1v2 at the end. That could have went their way. They would have had smokes online to try and deny some of the line of sight when they go for the defuse. 3 rounds, and that's the lead for T1.
Moj is actually going to be the one on the op, purely based off that Blade Storm. Multiple players, in fact, the whole team setting up exactly where Kiwi's going to be going. He's got to get out of there very quickly. The counter util's been good, but Xayah player is going to meet those blades. I feel like this is a moment where if you're T1, you go, nah, don't really fancy heading into that site. Still looking to check if that control's been taken by their opponents, but they are now going to start feeling out the map a little bit more.
Yeah, their issue is just how little control they can actually hold on to. Not having, like, your turret even sat on middle. These players could have pushed down. They could be in the window by now, wrapping up behind. That's not even talking about the A site. You know, ultimately, when you start around like this, a minute in, your only opportunity is to go towards C. But with Kiwi down, that opportunity now is a little bit more promising. Good stun, good delay, but the follow-up, the thing of legends. Sure, Mr. Fallen will go down, and some damage is found as well. But they managed to stall out that C push. And from the shadows, used to fake out that they're taking this to A. The fake is not sold, though. Foot still have 2 players here. One in the form of Adacaptain, the other being Cracks, and that angle is certainly held down by Cracks. Well done for Foot to find a 3rd.
Yeah, I feel like you could always rely on that man when it comes to getting a double kill, and again, I don't know how, just with the spam through the smokes, it was a stun through. I'm also just looking at Adacaptain right now with 0 kills and 11 assists. One of the most ridiculous stat lines we've had so far in this tournament. See how many that continues on to, but just really clean individual fights. And I do think that's one of the aspects of T1 that has been missing a little bit. It's very difficult versus Foot. They're extremely high when it comes to the skill ceiling, but they haven't been trading effectively and just allowing players like that to almost take over. Early stun, and Kiwi already taking that space. He's going to get one for free. No, it's actually a miss.
Well, he's got the drone at least, but not quite the same reward. Gets back in time to be caught by the Rolling Thunder. Pretty much out of this round for a few seconds, and he'll be caught by Ban, who's doubling up on the site. Mr. Fallen catches them blinded up on site before he's dropped, but they can't get ahead in the fights. It's still Maj left in a 1v2. T1 have got the plant in. Now they can hold this down together, even looking to double swing it, and the double not needed. Munchkin quick to the trigger. The lead stays with T1.
It's just a brawl. Such direct hits coming in from T1. Utility was solid off the bat. Like, Kiwi was completely screwed. But again, in those moments, you just see someone from Foot come alive. Mr. Fallen making this one look competitive for a second. But this time, T1 is there on the trades. But that's the thing. Like, some of these rounds have genuinely been over within the first 25 seconds, just with how pacey T1 have been going in with the hits. It's only if they're denied by initial util that they stop them. By the looks of things this round, they're going into A in the same sort of pace.
Oh my, look how quickly the pushes come through from Adacaptain. Sure, there's a fight, a brawl, in fact, going down on short, but they have full middle control as well. At the same time, you know, Foot, they give it up late into the round. Probably good that they did. That lockdown could be served to fake out and rotate back across the map, but more likely just to sit in position and claim the space afterwards. Foot will be conceding it all.
Yeah, at least they didn't manage to get the Thrash back, but that early usage again, just trying to deny the same sort of push that came through in the last round, and The rest of the team looking to build up in this retake. Now, you have to bear in mind, in terms of utility, there's a couple of flashes. I was going to say there's no paranoia to get them back in. They don't need it. T1 went looking. They wanted to fight. They wanted to scrap, and because of that, they now find themselves in a 5v2 scenario. Flank comes through from Moj as well. Munchkin needs to pull off one of the most ridiculous clutches you ever will have seen, and well, they're already spamming into the smoke. They know where he is. It's all too easy for Foot.
The patience after those fights as well. They took their time on the way back through. It certainly paid off. For T1, it's been a much better start than what we'd seen previously, and they're going to go for a timeout to attempt to recover on what has been a shakier, more recent memory. Losing 2 of the last 3 rounds, that retake in particular, I think will have them shaking a little bit because they got completely outpaced on the way back through.
Yeah, I think one of the things they're sort of struggling with is if Foot managed to read where that early contact is going to come in, because of the pace of their hits, the second it seems like they get disgruntled or disrupted in what they're doing, the round just falls apart. And this one, I think if I'm Autumn, I would have taken a pause as well, because that was a domino effect. You had that sort of initial fight that just didn't go their way, and then seconds later, you just have player after player trying to take a risk to get them back into the round. Like, that's not really what I'm expecting to see from the likes of T1. And also, again, as Des said, I feel like that's just playing into Foot's hands. Like, you're trying to play aggressive versus a team that's very good at playing aggressive. Like, they are very ready for those sort of fights to come through. Now, at least for T1 as well, that the finances have been broken. So that's going to be the decision. A hero rifle once again for Sire player. We've raved about it already throughout this series. He can definitely take rounds into his own hands, but it's definitely been easier said than done. And I'm still looking at the assist count. Adacaptan, he's got his first kill, but he's up to 13. I wonder how many of those are just from placing a smoke.
Right there. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It can be farmed up pretty easily, but...
High value assists. His cast is going to be insane.
Oh, yeah, off the charts. Well, round 9's about to kick off, and we'll see those barriers go up as a team fights for the lead. A side of Foot, I mean, look, like we've been saying, Cracks, the Gecko, it's all right. Cracks, though, he himself,
yeah, he's
unreal. Having a great game so far. Shock dart through, double bounce, notification found. They've destroyed the alarm bot, but not the alarmee. It's Moj deleting Carpe. And that puts them in a bit of a rough spot. Their flank protection not there, and, well, their flank wide open. Cracks has walked into it.
There's a reason the Turkish players only play the Vandal. It's normally because of the instant headshot. Sire player, though, can match them in that, at least. Now, they are going to have themselves an afterplan here. The turret destroyed for no reason other than fun. He is dead, but just in case, look how fast this flank is, though. Nobody actually watching in this direction. In fact, Zeta could be in trouble here. Currently using his Trunika's jumping back and spots half of the team. The stun has caught him as well. There is no chance for him to survive this one. And in fact, Adacaptan, well, he may be getting assists, but he can also frag in his own right as well. A clean push back through into this round for Foot. They're going to regain the lead for themselves once again.
Well, Adacaptan, he's just tripled his kills on that one.
Yeah, not bad.
Like to see it. 5 rounds on the board, lead theirs. And T1, they're having a lot of success getting onto the site. I think that's what we've seen certainly over on C in taking that control. The A site as well, just a few rounds ago, they burst through with relative ease. But the same as what we'd seen over on Pearl. When Foot are playing those retakes, when they're making that decision ahead, yeah, they don't look like they're breaking a sweat.
Once again, early build-up. This round looking maybe like a bit more of a default for the side of T1. We've seen them go very aggressively, direct into sites, and as has been mentioned, either they've been slaughtered on the way in or the retakes from Foot have been fantastic over the last few rounds at least. So they're going to try and wait, spot out some of these early fights, and well, Adacaptan is already going to have to use a little bit of that utility. Again, this is something that Desk mentioned. Just try and bait out some of that util a little bit earlier on. Again, though, with how many kills Cracks has been able to get, he can use that Thrash just to search, make sure that nobody has been able to get back in. And now T1, they start to build into this site once again, but they have got to be wary of the spams.
Yeah, it was a nice shot onto Munchkin already. He's in danger. I think it might have been him going for that orb. One away from Rolling Thunder now. Been used to great success previously to get them into sites, particularly A, where they now have a lurker. Just looking at the map, you can see Ban has snuck past Kiwi. He's now tucked in the corner. Space will be taken. It's Saya player coming up close, but further back was Munchkin. He's caught. Cloudburst, good the dodge on the Paranoia, but he'll still be taken down. Carpe with a good frag. They haven't spotted out a captain. He's doubling up, holding strong on the site. He doesn't need any help. Saw Thresh go in, but well, he already had it on lockdown. Zeta the last man alive. We'll find the first. Zeta captain's kill streak finally coming to a conclusion. But with just a couple of seconds left on that clock, I think we know this round is going into Foot's corner. The question is, will the rifle be carried through? The timing was nearly terrible. But it looks like he's locked it in.
Now, that's the thing. What a round from the side of Foot. Like, you just got the individual players. Like, you had that lurk from Ban, giving them the space onto short, but they were completely unaware of other control that was still held. Then when all the information gets spotted, and a captain on his own just walks into the site. The rest of the team trying to use util to set him up, but honestly, he didn't need it. It just went completely unchecked. It was like T1 in their mind went, okay, we have sold this fake. They're going to be on C. There's no way there's anybody in the corner. And that's mistakes you can't afford to give, because we've already seen it throughout this game so far. The players on Foot, each in their own right, will destroy you if they give them a moment's notice. Back to the pacey rounds. Rolling Thunder again. This is where they had one of their successful rounds. This time, though, Moj is out. And Kiwi, well, again, uncharacteristic, but it's a miss.
Oh. And he catches that one. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, Kiwi over to the rifle. You know he's going to be used to claim some space in the way through. Stun held. Mr. Fallen's caught at least one with that. Aftershock for down below, and that's a free kill. Zeta was caught in the turret. In the drone, I should say. Saya player is good for a double before being shut down. The operator doing a hell of a lot of heavy lifting on the way back into A. And another successful retake for the side of Foot. T1 starting to slip up, losing their lead.
Yeah, and I also think Foot are actually improving the way they're playing this A site quite a bit. In a lot of the earlier rounds, when Rolling Thunder was online, they were being caught by it, and then players were going down. Instead, they fall back. Like Moj just gets out of there immediately and just lets Kiwi find that opening kill. Now you're going into the same retake that you were already winning with an extra player on side. So if Foot are improving things as they go along, T1 need to find something here. They have lost the last 5 of 6 rounds. They were looking in a good spot, sitting at 4-3 up, and now, well, a Blade Storm, Hunter's Fury, some decent ultimates online. The thing is, though, I wonder if, again, it's just going to come down to the retake, especially with that lockdown available for Moj.
Blade Storm online. Saya player could be very dangerous with this. A pre-fire blade around the corner. And he's on his way through. Stun caught. He's up top, safe for a moment, allowed to recover. Will he be spotted after? No, not before he can grab a kill without a captain down. Blades refreshed. And the site seems to be theirs. Even that judge going to be quite scary, as exactly for that reason. It's up close, it's able to spam in the smoke. And if anything goes awry, he has that Blade Storm still to fall back on. This could be a tough fight for Kiwi.
Yeah, I almost feel like at this stage, someone has to make a mistake. And while Carpe's doubled up, kept this further into their favor, Kiwi will be able to get one, and actually Mr. Fallen's found another. Somehow, in this 2v5 scenario, it's beginning to look competitive with an isolated player within the smoke. Munchkin has a chance to put this one to bed, as Mr. Fallen is now all that remains. The other 2 players just waiting on long, and T1 will claim their 5th at the hands of Munchkin. It's definitely not the prettiest half they could have come out with, but it might just be enough.
Yeah, the numbers on the board, certainly enough for T1 at this point. I don't think they can feel too shaky, but an important note that this was Foot's map pick. So that was the half they wanted to start on for the side of T1, already out of the way. And with the context of how it began, maybe they wanted that little bit more. At the end of the day, though, there's some serious signs of life on that Foot side. They've come in for revenge on the international stage. They want to take a couple dubs home this time. An impressive beginning. 7-5 at the half, and a third map needed for Foot, or for T1 to take this all the way. Let's see what the desk makes of their chances.
Indeed, indeed. And now we're all curious whether or not T1 has it in them to be able to bring this back, force that map 3. But let's jump into this real fast because it did feel like T1, Baby Bay, were starting to recognize some of the faults in the situations that they found themselves in. But the consistency, it's not quite there yet. And that's not what I had expected here at Champions for T1.
Yeah, like from the first gun round, I was like so surprised. I was like, wait, like they're actually waiting and letting Foot flood in, and they like realized it. I'm like, oh yeah, like they realized it, that they're flooding in and they can actually just punish them for free. And then later in the half, they just revert back to like cutting these corners and not waiting for that flood. And you have Captain just going in and just killing 3 people, like just sliding in the sights. Like we cannot be cutting these corners, and we have to be aware that Foot is a team that likes to flood. Their retakes are awesome. So, like, I mean, they at least they made the adaptation a little bit, but you know, I was hoping I could see it throughout the entire way.
And Foot, on the other hand, were really good to adapt to that, to take a little bit more time, not always playing for the flood, and sometimes leaning instead into these set retakes, which work really well when you're combining the flash or the stun with that Gecko Dizzy. And they've gotten themselves a really strong half here. 5 rounds on defense is great, at least, and they've got even more than that. And for Krax, he was, again, the player taking charge. He was the star on Pearl, and here playing the Gecko as well, he's still looking so comfortable. I was impressed mostly at how well they were able to give areas of the map and re-clear with Krax's util.
Yeah, that is most definitely a thing that, you know, again, you want to see this kind of player, right, pop off in these moments like this and to be so consistent. Do it not just on a different agent on Pearl, but to do it here with the Gecko as well shows how much work this team has put in. Let's send it back over to the casters.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy and the desk. Yes, half 2 is ready to kick off. Just a few seconds until the barriers go up and T1's defensive side gets put to the test. Now, this is certainly not the most difficult, right? They're only 2 behind, but the pistol round, I think, carries a fair bit of weight in this game.
Yeah, it's definitely not been their strong suit so far, and although they may be Gecko runners themselves, they definitely don't run it on this map, so it's going to be something that they have to be prepared to adapt to. Those flashes, we've definitely seen players stare right into the eye of a Dizzy a couple of times. Counter stuns already. Just trying to help out Carpe, but already being spotted by the wingman. He is going to have to fade off of this one. B site looks to be the point of call for Foot, but with Killjoy util and a contact player in Munchkin, you'd have to hope for T1 they can get something on the entry here.
Well, Kiwi's got some control. A player spotted as well. He'll look for the fight, and that's an execution.
Beautiful paranoia.
Munchkin down immediately. The paranoia even stopped the players further back from peeking out to help. There were 2 ready to swing. Carpe and Ban, and both have been found by Kiwi. They didn't take the fight earlier, and they were forced into it later. This is looking rough. T1 blocked out completely. And even that late flank that they're attempting with Saya player, there might not be anything left to flank. They have enough bodies to cover more or less every single angle at this point. And once they catch out Zeta, it gets tough. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, we won't even talk about that for Saya because it's an ace for Kiwi. Kicking off half 2 with style.
See, this is the thing. Like, I know we go back a couple of years. We talk about the old school, maybe like a Supermassive Blaze, Turkish Valor, and it was just run in, get headshots, get all of the kills. You look at those first 3 kills for Kiwi, every single player was blind. Supportive flash off the paranoia, pop flash came through as well from Mr. Fallen. The last player, I think, was split second away from getting stunned, so obviously they're moving as well. It might not count as an assist, but it definitely was one. That was just a beautiful round, setting up the superstar of Foot. Exactly what you want to see from the likes of them. And now, well, if the start in both halves has gone as badly as this, can we see some sort of response? Saya, well, there's definitely no fear here, but there is an alarm bot waiting. That's going to be destroyed. That gives Anna Captain a chance to protect. Okay, that was very, that was very optimistic from Zeta that there would be no one there. And they're still trying to find him. Anna Captain just lurking around the back lines has caused them, well, mass amounts of problems.
Good luck to Ban and getting more than this. Already spotted out and dealt with. Spidey sense is good for Attic Captain, and 9 rounds found. The lead extending further and further in their favor, and for T1, I do think that this is where they need to put a stop to it right about now, because one more loss here, push down to an eco, and Foot are knocking
they can't lose
on the home stretch. Yeah, very much so.
That's the thing, we're falling into the same position as last map. Like the early rounds looking so good for Foot, and keeping them nice and clean. They're going to come in with a rifle. Kiwi only 2 away from getting that Blade Storm as well after farming up an ace in that prior round. And already they're going to take a lot of initial space into mid. This seems to be pretty much their pressure. Look how aggressive he is! He's just got straight through! Already just decimating the side of T1. This was the round that they desperately needed to win. He's just opened things up with ease.
Made it look like an eco-ton. I mean, they've got rifles on the other side. They were ready, watching for that push through. And it certainly didn't look like it. At this point, I'm looking at the body language, looking at Ban's position on the minimap, and it's a save. They've called for it. Mere seconds into the round. And you're 5v2 behind, weaknesses for Foot. And, well, not for much longer even. That a captain.
They're going to get them.
He's picking up a rifle. There you go.
I think they're expecting some sort of contention here, but they've almost just had to give up on this one. And you can't really blame them for it. It was such just a direct, fast-paced take. We spoke about like supportive utility and basically how that was utilized. They sent a stun and a paranoia through into sewers. So that was the ruse. It was like, yeah, we're pushing. Do you remember last round when we used all our util to kill you off into it, and then he just dashes straight into the A site and kills both players, or B site, sorry. That's insanity. I think there might have been a supportive flash, but I don't think it made a difference. That was just complete distraction play from Foot, and T1, well, they fell for the bait.
Yeah, oh, they absolutely did. And you can see immediately they realized seconds into that second kill for Kiwi, oh, we've been played.
Yep.
This is done. This round is over. And they go for the save. Feeling dejected like that, just a couple of rounds into the second half, it's not going to be putting a smile on their face on the side of T1. In fact, a timeout has been called as this squad attempts to get to the bottom of their problems.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be a quick resolution found because they are running out of runway.
And that's the thing as well, the manner in which they're losing the rounds is just, again, like firstly...
It's over. It's over, man.
Just fantastic supportive utility that's coming through, but then just the bait and switches from Foot. They seem to be so tuned in. And it's something we've spoken about many times when it comes to Turkish teams. It's that leadership. So somebody at the helm to actually have these adaptive ideas, these smart setups. You have to give credit to the coaching staff as well for Foot, because they have come into this game ultimately with either people putting this game level or in T1's favor, and they have looked by far the better side into this first matchup. Now, of course, as we said, we expect that this bracket might actually go as Sideshow said and then end up in a rematch, which I can't believe I'm saying that. FPX are probably going to win the whole group now, just based off that curse, but this is a rough position for T1 to be in. And just look at what they've got. 2 rifles, pistols, and on the other side of things, they've got everything to play with.
Nice aggression, though. Saya's not only caught... Whoa,
what?
No! I don't know how he went down there. Sure, the trade is in. Just another remarkable fight from Kiwi. The advantage, though, is certainly falling into the court of T1. 2 rifles to work with. One of them is in the hands of Ban, who we see on the C site. Players coming from either angle. They know that Carpe is here now, and they'll shut him down. Only Ban left to find, and Krax does, well, makes it look easy. He'll be left alone. Still has his wingman to work with. Maybe the plant can go down. He can try to move to a post plant already, start the flank.
He'll get his ult off this as well.
Oh, that's huge.
It's tough to use in these sort of scenarios. To isolate a player. If he gets it into the 1v1, you almost have to say that this round is his, and Zeta is going to try and sell a ruse. Maybe that both players are coming in from that direction. Yet to move is going to be Munchkin. The spray's a little bit wild. He's going to go running back into his opponent. Munchkin will just about find the victory in that round. A little bit too close for comfort, and even a world where we might have seen a knife, but T1, they find something. They dig deep and manage to get themselves back into this one. 10-6, still a hefty lead, and well, I think the finances are going to be okay for this one.
Yeah, I think they're pretty comfortable for this and the next if they need it. Krax again showing his prowess individually. That was 3 kills, and as you said, 20 HP there.
Did he even get stunned? I don't know if he did.
No, I think because he took his knife out and jumped so quickly, he avoids it, but
yeah, he's dead anyway.
Leaps straight into the waiting arms of his opponent. If he commits to having his knife out, doesn't try to switch, just to a wild swing? I don't know.
Or
I
even
feel
if
like
he
gets
just,
it.
the guy was one bullet off,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he probably kills
Right
him off
click, a
that.
classic.
But, hey, you can't blame him. Thrash straight through, as said. He has farmed this all up so many times throughout this game. Doesn't connect onto anyone this time. Kiwi's gone dashing into the site. Made space, but Carpe's done well. Instant trade again, though. It all seems to come tumbling down. Ban at the back of sight is the last point of call. His teammates with a supportive flash, but maybe he doesn't need that support. However, does he know? Look, there's a player right below him. He's seen the gun barrel eventually. He'll make the realization. The penny drops, and it leaves just Cracks alone in this one. And again, T1, they will hold the site, but mostly because of Ban.
Yeah, phenomenal round for Ban, and no better time for him to go stepping up. We were about to see things slip away, but now just 3 rounds behind. Ulti's coming online as well. Some weaknesses for the side of Foot. This could be the start of T1's redemption arc this year, seeing the barrel for so long. Good thing he was able to connect eventually. Captain thought he'd flown under the radar.
This might be one of those rounds where you see the confidence come to bite them a little bit. That was a lot of individual fights handed over to Ban. Everybody expecting to win their battle themselves. Kiwi, well, we've mentioned him going in solo every single time, but it's actually Saya getting caught. The trades coming across the map, individual fight after individual fight, but T1, they've come out on top here and have a lot in their favor. 2 ultimates if they need them, and a man advantage.
Yeah, T1 know that they're happy to play retake on A if needed. Too much of a risk to stick around on site, but they have a lockdown which can very comfortably get them set up. There you go. The star of the show.
Yeah, we love Wingman in this house.
The little bro, he's got the plant in. He's bought them that little bit of time now as the clock moves into their favor. Rolling Thunder avoiding it at first. Mr. Fallen actually grabs a kill off of utility, and he's still standing strong down below. Captain on for another. Mr. Fallen still hasn't been rooted out. They just couldn't deal with this breach, and every single player shut down on the way to take that duel. Yeah, 11-7.
I would like to see it in the replay. I'm not certain of it, but I think Munchkin's ult actually hits Zeta up top. So he's unable to react to anything else. I think it goes across the site, and either that or he just jumped at exactly the same time, but it looked like it went through initially, and it just gave them that extra bit of time for a more disjointed take. So again, these are things that it just can't happen when you're facing off against Foot in a post-plant situation. And well, look at this from Saya, straight through. Looking to try and take this round, but the counter util hit by a Paranoia and a bullet to the face. They've not got a lot to play with in this round, continuing the push, and they almost lose another life. Carpe tagged desperately low.
Yeah, left on 35. Lockdown still in his back pocket. He'll be avoiding further fights. Phenomenal beginning to this round for the side of Foot, and again, we see that discipline in play. Captain and Kiwi holding the extremities for the first 30 seconds or so, but now the squad starts to group up. They'll look for a new target to take down, and it looks like the C site is what they have their sights set on. Ban tucked in that corner. He'd managed to sneak his way here just a few moments ago. Shot. I mean, that very much looks like that should be the only player here. They're not checking Ban at first, and they paid the price. A double kill. The Hunter's Fury fired out a little too far away from the first, and nothing found in the second. This is right back into play for T1.
That looked like it was on, especially the first one, but hey, Ban has made this one competitive. Started to come alive over the last couple of rounds. Moj, Zeta just unable to connect. That's been a couple of opportunities in this round, and Carpe, well, he's low. Wanted to try and take a risk. Now just look at the space that is there for Foot. The other player is so desperately far away. Now that alarm bot likely not going to be online from that sort of distance. Incredibly far away, but I think the position of Moj holds a lot more value. Someone they need to clear. Zeta has done well though, but the trade is immediate, and now it's left all onto Munchkin.
Full belt of utility to work with, at the very least. That smoke fading. There you go.
Look at the ults.
The Rolling Thunder will be committed. They're not risking anything in this 2v1. A stun through gives away his position. Maj knows exactly where to look. And another found for Foot. Same as previous map now. The home stretch is in front of them. 1 round of the next 5 needed, and they'll be shutting T1 out of this opening series. So far, the squad of T1 only finding 11 rounds across it. Not enough to win 1 map.
Yeah, no, a really good sign for FUT. Like, we looked at them coming into this tournament after having close games at Tokyo versus the likes of Attacking Seoul, losing to DRX, who definitely looked shakier. That was, I think that was before they actually subbed out Foxy as well, so a great sign for them thus far in this game. Captain, is he actually just going to stick that all the way through? He did. He held it.
Oh.
He went onto the site and just found an opener. No fear in this man's heart. They've still got a couple of positions that they need to clear. The lockdown's going to make things more awkward, and the position of Munchkin could do serious damage. They're just going to back out of there. So much time on the clock that they don't need to risk it.
Oh, okay, 1 player detained. There was only space for Captain. Couldn't fit 2 players in the safe corner, the safe spot. T1 back into A, 3 players here. I thought FUT were out, like fully out, once Krax didn't go for the plant with the wingman. Once the spike went running back all the way down A long. And indeed, they will be changing direction, but very, very slowly from the shadows. Spots 1 player, but yeah, you're starting to get the idea that they're rotating. If you're on the side of T1, the plant coming
Lil
through.
Bro's got this one. Don't worry. Not need for any help here.
Boom. That's how we do it.
They
now
even tried to
very quickly
paranoid
on it. They're going to try and defuse this already, tapping it immediately and causing this utility to start being thrown out. How has Krax found that? A nail in the coffin for the squad of T1 as Krax picks up even more. The flank is on its way, and that will do it. 13-7. An incredible debut for the side of FUT as they take their opening series 2-0, barely breaking a sweat.
Yeah, the first Turkish team to make it here to champions. We've had individual players here and there, but they're the first full squad to do it, and what a debut. A 2-0 dominating fashion. You're looking at that scoreboard, and well, 5 of the top 6 come from their side of things. Kiwi leading the way, but it was an incredible performance from the likes of pretty much everyone. Even when you look at the role switches, the supportive utility. Captain at one point, I think he had 1 kill and something like 11 assists. He ends up 13 and 11 overall, just having an amazing performance. And for T1, it's not a death sentence. They're not out. There's definitely that lower bracket still to go, but they're going to have a real resurgence going into their second matchup. Otherwise, they could be in some serious trouble because FUT are definitely here to play in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, they're not messing around, and like we saw, the benefit from hearing from Guys earlier, their coach, he was saying that they haven't changed a bunch. They're just working on perfecting what they were already working on, and I think they're getting pretty close. Players like Kiwi on the international stage, we knew he'd deliver. Players like Krax, like Maj, who in that first map was unbelievable, and we are seeing multiple different facets where FUT have stepped up their game. This is getting scary for anybody else that sat in their group.
But that's the thing. If they can keep getting away with everything they did in this first matchup, then yeah, I think anybody they come up against is going to be in some real trouble. I will say, though, that I do feel like T1 made a lot more mistakes than they're going to make further down the line. I have to hope so, at least, like angles not being checked and just silly things that I didn't expect to see from a roster that's normally sort of playing in a very solid structure. It wasn't quite there for them today. First match on the stage, maybe I'll give them a little bit of wiggle room, but for FUT, I don't think it gets much better than that. That was sublime.
No, it really was, and it depends. You know, you can take your pick in that series. As I said, someone like Krax towards the end, certainly. Kiwi the whole way through. Maj, map 1, phenomenal on that Viper, and I think the reality is if they can hit this level in every game, it might not stop at top 8 as a goal for the squad. They might be looking to go all the way.
You're just trying to put a smile on Sanan's face, aren't you?
You know
I see the pandering there. I see the pandering.
I see.
Yeah, you know.
I see Burke on the stage without earphones. You know, I'm working for another hoodie.
I was about to say, how much more FUT merch do you need? No, I think that, yeah, especially with the group that they're in. Like, we look at Group B, and although GB earlier in the day had his little clown costume on saying that this was the best group, this is definitely one that has the most opportunity for teams that I think if you put them maybe in a Group D or Group A, it would have been a lot tougher for things to get done. But again, I just love seeing the support. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's always great. I mean, that same watch party location has been locked in for all their big games, and
it's awesome.
You know, every single time they're out there delivering. Seeing them on a stage in Istanbul is something. But for this squad, I think now that they have serious potential, Tom, up their sleeve.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know if you want to call it yet, but
just look at them.
Favorites in the group?
Oh, I don't know about that one. I think there might be an E and a G that have some. Might just slightly take the favor on that one after their performance in Tokyo, but it makes me excited to see that match coming up, or likely coming up. Obviously, FPX still stands in EG's way, but well, unless they have a serious drought, I think that's probably the upper bracket match we're getting.
Yeah, it probably is. Well, I'll tell you what else we're getting. An interview down on the stage. We got Yinsu standing by with Ada Captain.
By Atta Captain from Foot and Scala, who's going to be helping with some translations here. First of all, Atta, welcome to LA. Congratulations on your first win. It wasn't just a win, it was very, very clean. So tell me, what was the biggest thing that you guys wanted to improve from Tokyo? What were you working on in the preparation phase, in the break ahead of this tournament?
Ata, öncelikle tebrikler. Yani sadece bir galibiyet değildi. Aslında biraz da stomptu ve çok temiz geçti diyebiliriz bu galibiyet için. Tokyo'dan buraya gelirken en çok odaklandığınız şey neydi? Yani en böyle geliştirme konusunda odaklandığınız, önemli olduğunu düşündüğünüz şey neydi bu arada?
Öncelikle teşekkür ederim. Bu Los Angeles'ta cidden çok iyi karşılandık. Tokyo'dan da şu zamana en öncelikli geliştirdiğimiz şey açıkçası birazcık daha taktiksel yoğunluğa gittik ve bireysel bir çalışma vardı. Tokyo'dan sonra da zaten fazla bir boşluk bırakmadık. Direkt Champions için çalışmaya başladık. Yani ekstra fazla bir şey diyemem. Son bir aydır tryhard çalışıyoruz Champions için.
First of all, I want to thank you as well. And Los Angeles is beautiful. We received a really warm welcome in Los Angeles. From Tokyo, the thing we improved the most was we improved ourselves tactically mostly. We did prepare individually, but we focused more on tactical issues. Aside from that, we didn't take that many breaks between Tokyo and here. So for the past month, we have been studying, we've been practicing really hard, and we're ready.
We could see that. We could see that. Now, speaking of the strategies, Fallen on KJ on Pearl, you on Brimstone, we saw some changes. So talk me through, why did you make those changes on Pearl?
Taktiksel, Pearl'de de bazı değişiklikler gördük. İşte Fallen Killjoy oynadı, sen Brimstone oynadın. Bu tercihlerin sebebi neydi?
Başından beri zaten Pearl'le öyle oynuyorduk. Ekstra bir şeyler gerekiyordu Champions için. Biz de onu burada sunmaya geldik.
Well, we have been playing Pearl like that for quite some time, but we needed something extra for Champions, so that's what we brought to the table.
Were you happy with the performance today? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm so happy.
We're happy as well to see you happy. And last question, at Tokyo, you also had to play group stage, but unfortunately, you didn't quite get further than the group stage. You have to play group stage again here, so does everybody else. So what do you make of your group at this tournament?
Evet, Tokyo'da da grup aşamasında oynayıp çok ileri gidememiştiniz. Burada da grup aşamasındasınız. İşler farklı olacak mı? Beklentilerin neler? Ne düşünüyorsun buradaki grupla ilgili?
Yani en son AG ile oynadığımızda, şu an aynı grupta olduğumuz için konuşuyorum. Kötü bir mağlubiyet almıştık. Lotus haritasını kendimiz kapatamamıştık. Ama şu an bu aldığımız üstün bir galibiyetle, yani ezici demeyeyim ama üstün bir galibiyetle beraber yani üst turda daha da sert oynayacağımıza eminim.
I can speak about EG because we played against EG in the previous group as well. Against EG, like it was kind of our fault. We could have closed it out in Lotus, but we couldn't do that the previous time we faced one another. But right now we started off with a clean victory, and we plan to use that going forward as well, and I think we will have a good group.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Thank you very much, Atta Captain, Teşekkürler, Scala as well. Thank you very much for translating. And for the Foot fans, it's great news for them because we are going to be seeing Atta Captain soon, and EG will also be taking the stage.
Today, one team will move straight to the knockout bracket and 4 more will make their group stage debut. And here we go. 2 teams that have showed us at Tokyo that they have what it takes to compete with the best, but now they need to go toe-to-toe against each other to decide who moves on in this bracket. It's Foot going up against T1.
But he's able to hold on for the moment. Even still, though, initial frag goes the way of Kiwi's doing work, but Carpe just gets 2 through the pit. A little bit more for him as well. Yeah, he's left a teammate behind as well. I don't think Cracks was expected. The flank from Sire will dome one, but the trades are coming back thick and fast.
If someone from Foot overextends,
Oh, he
what
got
was
2.
that? It won't last too long without a captain. The trade out is good for Mr. Fallen Foot with 13-4. Their opening map in Los Angeles could not have gone much better. One in the form of Ada Captain, the other being Cracks, and that angle is certainly held down by Cracks. Well done for Foot to find a third. Carpe with a good frag. They haven't spotted Ada Captain. He's doubling up, holding strong on the side. He doesn't need any help. Well, Kiwi's got some control. A player spotted as well. And they'll look for the fight, and that's an execution.
Paranoia.
Man, and both have been found by Kiwi. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, we won't even talk about that for Saya because it's an ace for Kiwi. And that will do it. 13-7. An incredible debut for the side of Foot as they take their opening series 2-0, barely breaking a sweat.
Calling all students. Compete in the ultimate Valorant competition.
The Red Bull capless clutch.
Register now for your national qualifier.
Hello and welcome back to Valorant Champions. We are with Potter and Boostio from Evil Geniuses, who will be playing a game of Agree or Disagree. Number 1. Potter would beat Boostio in an Operator 1v1.
Easy. There's a running joke in our team that the last time I played Potter, she absolutely destroyed me in a real tournament. She was like +5 against me, and every time we scrim, she puts me down in scrims too. So if she's in the server,
he's not wrong.
That is 100% fact.
He's not wrong, and I've never lost to any of my players in a match. Well, 3 of them. 3 of the players in a match. So strongly agree. I still got it, guys.
Number 2, EMEA is a 1-team region.
Holy, that is 100% fact.
Strongly agree.
They need to do so much better over there. It's fact. It's only Fnatic. Every other team is bad.
Deadlock will be played at Champions.
Well,
I don't think so. She's bad.
she's not great. She's not great.
Ethan has the laziest in-game name of any pro player.
Wait, let me think.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, his name is terrible.
It's pretty close. He used to put effort when he did it the flip side.
Yeah,
it
when
used
it's
to
backwards.
be Nazi with a capital letter and a lowercase letter. Now, it's just
He's famous. He doesn't care anymore.
The LA crowd will be a better crowd than in Japan.
I love America, but I don't see any crowd being better than the one in Japan, to be honest, for both stadiums. It was unreal.
Yeah.
But if NA can do it, I hope so. It would be cool.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to follow up the Japanese crowd, for sure.
Americas will have more teams in the top 8 than any other region.
Wait.
We only have 3 teams here.
Yeah, so by odds, technically no, but we have S and NRG. I'll agree. Not strongly agree. I think, actually, no, I strongly agree. NA is the best region, actually. It's not even close. EMEA is a fraudulent region, 100%.
Chinese Valorant will never be better than NA.
Never. Absolutely not. I will make sure of it. Never.
Boosie's not paying attention to the rest of the world, but we will all be speaking Chinese soon. So I'm going to have to go and disagree.
Final question. EG is winning champions.
I don't want to jinx it, but...
I don't want to jinx it either, but you just go agree.
Agree.
We're winning it all. Won't even be close.
Well, Boostio, he doesn't think that Chinese Valorant is ever going to be better than NA, and he has a time to prove it today because EG, they're going to be going up against FPX. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm back here with Baby Bay and Mimi. Welcome, you guys. We got to address that, though. Mimi, what do you make of Boostio's comments?
I make that FPX has a chance to do the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
If they beat EG then, and we're just told that there's no chance. But yeah, I think it's fair for now, but saying never. There's a lot of people in China who play games, and they're already getting better very quickly if you look at EDG.
Yeah, I think EDG will have some words for that, you know. And, you know, I think they have one of the best operators in the world right now. So I think he alone might put a thorn in what he just said. But you know what? I'm from NA. I got to support my boy. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say.
Boostio, that's my guy, bro. Come on,
you
bro.
agree with that,
Better
right?
back it up. Better back it up, bro.
You're backing him. But let's talk about EG here a little bit because EG, I feel like going into Tokyo, maybe there was not even any expectations of what this team could do, but Baby Bay, after seeing what they could do in Tokyo, do you think the expectations are higher this time around?
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? That sets a different precedent too, because like when you go into a tournament without having high expectations, you play a lot differently. You can be a lot more loose, and you can actually like play just however you do in scrims, you know. And now that there's a standard that we know now, it's like, how are they going to perform?
In talking to Potter about this team, they always use the term that we're playing with house money, right? They never thought they'd be there. A coach had to knife someone for them to make playoffs and make a crazy run to make it into the international event, and then don't even think they're going to have Demon 1. I mean, it was unparalleled, the run that EG had. And it is going to be a huge shift in expectations, because this team's entire history, going back 2 years to when they were in Tier 2 in like 2021, they were always an underdog. No one ever expected them to win, to go on runs. But now placing top 2 at an international tournament, that I think will shift the expectations, and I imagine will force the players to kind of think things through mentally differently. And I'm wondering what that's like for you, Baby, because you've done that with FaZe before, to go for a team with very low expectations to one who kind of became a favorite in a lot of tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, on FaZe, I got second place. And
oh, you know all about it.
yeah.
You know all about it.
It was downhill from there, let me just say. But, you know, it was a great time getting second while it lasted, you know, and going on that crazy run.
I'm glad you mentioned the second place thing, because coming top 2 is actually a bad thing if you don't win it. As you guys can see, the history of the second place curse at global events, it is the only curse that has yet to be broken. Baby Bay, are EG the team to break this curse, do you think?
I mean, I feel like they've broken the 9-3 curse, so, you know, they could be, you know, but you never know. We got to see how they perform today, and, like, I'm not going to say that this is a big test for them, honestly, but, like, they should be dominating today. Let's just
Yeah, they've made miracles happen before, is the thing. So if there was a team to break it, I think it would be EG. But I don't think today is really going to be the day they're at risk of losing out. I think actually they're in a group that's really good for them to get acquainted to the international stage again and kind of warm up to those new expectations.
I think that's the looking at the other strength of the other teams in this group is really, really interesting for EG. And that's the other thing, right, with EG. They're innovating. People are starting to take things that they do for themselves. I think the Sova fracture is something that we've been talking about for a while, Mimi, but it's not just that, though. There's a lot of other stuff that people are just straight up yoinking from EG.
Yeah, people have been stealing their comps, their ideas. I think in particular, the way that they put an emphasis on ultimates and how well they can use them on the fly surprised and impressed so many people at Tokyo. But beyond that, also, Boostio is an IGL. The mid-rounding for this team got so good at that event. I mean, they really were playing at a form that we've never seen from this team before.
Yeah, I mean, I never saw them play this good, like, ever, right? Like, I played against them my entire career, and, I mean, Boostio said it in interviews, like, not a lot of people gave respect to, like, the core that we had, and you know what? They're actually a great core.
They absolutely are. And the thing is, well, other miracle runs in history have been based on form. It was Zeta with Sugar Zero playing like a god. It was players stepping up, becoming massive individuals to make upsets happen. You think the crew champs run, but I don't think that was the case for EG. If anything, Demon 1 was playing worse than he did at home. It wasn't one star propelling this team to the levels that they reached. It was really their style and their consistency as a roster that defined their run, which I think makes it different than other teams who have made miracles happen in the past.
Does that open them up to some anti-stratting, though, Baby Bay? People know what they do now. How deep is their playbook?
I think the thing with their team, I think Potter does a great job with making micro adjustments. Like, I used to play against them all the time, like I said, and every time we would play them, it'd be something new. So, like, even if it's like a micro change, she knows how to implement that within the team. And a big thing that they focus on, and we've heard Boostio say this a lot, is communication. And, like, I don't think you can copy communication. If their comms are on and they're vibing off of each other, like, it's going to be tough for any team to play against them.
Do you know what? I don't think we've heard enough from Boostio. I want more.
Yeah.
He's standing by right now, actually, with Sideshow, and he managed to get a quick word out of him. Check this out.
Boostio, welcome to the big stage of champions. Now, you famously said that China will never be better than North America in Valorant. So presumably that means today's going to be a 2-0. How many rounds are you going to drop?
To be humble, I think we'll give them 8. 13-4, 13-4.
And that's humble, 13-4, 13-4. Well, there you go. You heard it from him.
Oh, like 8 total.
You just gave him A and
He didn't even let him finish.
Well. You just literally walked off. Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's reasonable. I had the same opinion going into today.
I mean, just his walk alone, that was stupid alpha. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
he rolled the sideshow, like, just flexing him like that. Like.
I mean, speaking of alpha, I got to talk about one guy who I feel like has been so cold and consistent for this team, which is Ethan. I know Tom was kind of making fun of him having one of the boringest names, perhaps, but Mimi, nothing else about this guy on the server is boring.
His impact is incredible. His supportive utility, I think, is really world-class. And on top of that, his individual form stepped up to such a big level. at Tokyo. On top of that, Baby Bay, just the experience he brings to any team is huge.
Yeah, he's such an annoying player to play against because you know he's always going to make the right play. It's like he rarely gets caught out, rarely does something that's deemed stupid. And you know what? It's because he's a championship level player. He's won majors before, right? Like this guy just brings that entire energy and really brings it all together for the young guys on his team.
You can see that the crowd never bothers him. He's always so focused and in the zone. You guys don't believe in FPX. I don't know why you would say that, because let's talk about FPX. I still feel like when it comes to Chinese teams, Mimi maybe still one of the lesser known ones because all of the attention has always been on EDG.
This team made it to Lock-in and promptly lost one game and went out there, but they have been international before and they've made some changes, picking up Lysor during the offseason. But the thing is, I actually think FPX has slipped in their standings in China. Well, a lot of these teams I feel have really improved, especially EDG with their run at Tokyo. FPX has been struggling. Still, I see so many fundamental issues, the late rounds falling apart. They have star power. They have players who are really good, but it feels like oftentimes they rely very heavily on that. And really, against super fundamentally sound teams like EG, I just don't think that's going to be super successful internationally. So this is going to be a very hard task for FPX if they want to try and mirror EDG's run and have another top team for China.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think in order for them to win this series, they're going to have to pull out some crazy, crazy things. I think they're going to have to be running through smokes, getting like 2Ks back to back to back to back. Like, it's got to be some crazy stuff going on. I don't see a world in which they win because of the foundation that EG has.
Baby, if there was a team to do crazy though, it would be these guys. They play absurd comps, double controller with like an Astra and an Omen on maps you'd never expect it. Berlin is lurking as the IGL infant. They will do ridiculous things to catch people off guard.
You just summed up their win condition, by the way, so I'm glad you did that. But speaking of FPX, Berlin is standing by with Sideshow right now as well. Let's send it down to him.
Berlin, can I catch a word? Okay, so the last time you came to an international tournament, you were able to take a map off Carmine Court. What's it going to take to turn that into a series win here today?
那这个问题想问一下 Berlin 选手的是，其实你们上一次出现在国际大赛，你们当时是有拿下一张地图的，所以说你觉得怎么样？在这一次，你们能够把你们的胜势从一张地图变成赢下一场对局呢？一场 BO3。
我们准备了更多的小秘密，然后这是要给EG的一些战术震撼嘛。对。
Yeah, definitely I must say we have some secret weapon prepared, so definitely we're going to surprise EG for this game.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Good luck in your game. Thank you very much. Thanks.
I love how he said secret weapons in plural, Mimi. There's more than one secret weapon that they have prepared specifically for EG.
I'm going to be honest, if I'm EG, I have no idea what to expect against these guys. They play so many different compositions at home. They take crazy risks that no one else really would. I think if there was a team to punish you when you're on an off day, when your fundamentals aren't perfect, if you're leaving gaps, it's going to be FPX because they just thrive in the chaos. And Baby, their IGL is the example of that. This is the agents that he's played thus far back home in China, and it is a ridiculous pool for this guy.
He's a versatile player with a versatile play style, right? I mean, he lurks on the IGL role, on Fade, and all this stuff. I mean, I don't know what to expect, you know? Like, I don't know what these secret weapons can be.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it as well and see what they're going to do with the map selection. Our coaches are ready, so let's send it down.
First of all, congratulations to you both. Your first match of Champions 2023. Big congrats. Let's jump in. So, EG, you were the higher seed for this match. Team A or Team B?
Team A.
Team A. So, FPX, you will be Team B. So, we will start your first ban.
We'll ban Lotus.
They ban Lotus. Your ban?
We ban Fracture.
Fracture. And then map number 1 from EG.
We will pick...
We love you, Twitch chat.
We love you, Twitch chat. Okay, we will pick Ascent.
Ascent? Okay, side on Ascent.
Attack.
Attack. Okay, map number 2.
Pearl.
Pearl, side on Pearl.
We'll pick Defense.
Defense. Okay, next set of bans, starting with EG, you have Haven, Bind, and Split.
We'll take out Haven.
Take out Haven. Your ban, you have Bind and Split.
Oh, yeah, ban Split.
Ban, Split, play Bind. So map number 3 is Bind, EG, side on Bind.
We'll pick Defense.
Defense. Okay, I'm gonna run through this really quick, make sure we're all set. First set of bans, we have EG with Lotus, FPX with Fracture. Map number 1 is Ascent with FPX on attack. Map number 2 is Pearl with EG on defense. Next set of bans are Haven and Split, which makes the Cider map 3 Bind with EG on defense. Good? All right, good luck to you both.
FPX.
It's the team that defied all expectations versus the team that we don't really know what to expect. But let's not forget, EG, they've been on the side where everybody underestimated them and they had to pay the price. So Mimi, surely they know not to underestimate their opponent.
They absolutely do. But this went from the team for Evil Geniuses that no one believed in, no one was a fan of, to now making a run at Tokyo. Looking out over the crowd, I see the majority of people are here for EG, out to support them. It's the first North American team making their debut in Los Angeles.
And it feels like Baby Bay is one of the first times that they seem like the heavy favorites, not just the favorites in a matchup. So what are you expecting from them today?
I mean, I'm definitely expecting them to come out guns blazing. I mean, you could definitely feel their energy and their confidence. I just hope they're not overly confident and they don't go overboard and they don't start just running it down or something, you know? Like, I would hate to see that because this is a team that their success is made off of the fundamentals.
Yeah, and let's talk about the maps here as well, because speaking of not being able to run it down, I think Ascent coming out first, Baby Bay, is such a strong pick for EG, and FPX did the smart thing of banning Fracture.
Yeah, and you know what I'm surprised at specifically is that they picked attack, right? Like, FPX is on attack first, and I'm just like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? I have no idea what they're gonna do. So like, I don't know. I mean, they have a really good opportunity now to set the pace and do something crazy, bring out those secret weapons, you know?
But Ascent is a map that's very good for Evil Geniuses. They were one of the first teams to break Loud streak on this map when they were the best Ascent team, pretty much undisputed. They also beat Paper X here on their run. This has been one of their strong suits. They play the default comp, but Boostio's IGLing, especially on the attack sides, has been really excellent throughout the run at Americas and into Tokyo as well.
Yeah, and also just the individual fragging too from Boostio on this map is always being very, very consistent. But Mimi, what about the side of FPX as we head into the Prime Gaming Agent Select? What do you make of this?
I mean, let me show you guys something. They're playing double controller, but it's not with the Viper. It's two of the more normal controller agents with both Omen and Astra on this map. They play a Sky instead of Sova with no KO. It's a ridiculous composition where they're almost always going to be lacking information, but these guys will just put down smokes seemingly in strange random positions and make crazy plays. This is a comp where FPX can create the chaos, Baby Bay, that they tend to thrive in.
You're shaking your head. Why?
I've never seen it. I've never seen it before. I don't know how it's going to play out. I mean, I don't think that EG is going to be caught off guard by a lot of things. I think that this default comp is just very versatile in every way. So as long as they don't overthink it, I'm sure they'll do a great job.
I think that's always a strength for EG. The preparation is strong for them, and I'm sure that they have watched back some of what FPX was doing. For FPX, though, this really is the question, how far can they go? They made it here. They got an opportunity, again, internationally. Can they do better than Lock-in?
This is the thing, it's champs, right? Even all the games we've seen so far, there have been surprises already. You never know what can happen on a stage like this, because sometimes, Baby Bay, it really depends on who turns up on the day.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the best time to turn up is on attack. Like, setting that pace is so important. So we need to see something crazy out of them, but I'm not saying they can't do it. It is going to be an uphill battle, though.
Well, the agents are logged and the stage is all set. All we need and are missing are two people to take us through this exciting match. Everyone give a warm welcome to Bren and Cider.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, great setup for this one here. Evil Geniuses versus FPX, our #1 America seed versus the #3 in China, Josh. I mean, I'm looking forward to some whimsy, some silliness.
Some wild stuff.
Listen, make some noise here. Let's get this group stage match started.
What a position for EG to be in. Perennial underdogs now as the favorites in a match that would be the biggest upset I feel like we've seen at an international tournament if FPX was able to pull it off. And instantly trying to up the pace, as Baby Bay was
talking about. Set the tempo early. Take grasp of the match.
It was that early paranoia just through the choke point, but now it's all slowed down once more. Bit of mid-exploration for the pistol round. FPX grouped up.
And
even with that A-split.
Even with the double smoke comp, Brent, not putting a smoke down in mid there. Yeah. Not giving the idea that they're going for the A-split. Jorgamo almost caught off.
Catching it. Quite a bit of damage, actually, off of that one. Berlin lucky to be alive, but they're going to be getting the first section of the A site. It's going to be theirs.
What a lovely
Letting now the Nana Swarms. Boostio still anchoring towards the back. No one really swinging to deal with them. They just can't. Too many Nana Swarms at the floor, at the feet, yet still FPX coming up with the goods. 2 kills their way. Plenty of damage done to the players, though. They are quite weak, and there's a shock dart. Finishing off Ayang. Still close to the corner, Lysor. Oh, well, they're not going to expect this one. Still up close, onto the heaven angle. Jorgamo does not win his fight out. Demon 1 brought down. And FPX open us up with a pistol round win.
And you're instantly seeing the biggest advantage to me, Brent, that FPX have compared to the last time we saw them at an international tournament. They've made a roster upgrade, and this guy has been the best player in the most recent tournaments that FPX has been playing in. Lysor has instantly rejuvenated the team and provided an upgrade in terms of the fragging power. Stick him on the Killjoy. He's allowed them to have flexibility between the double smokes and double initiator comps that FPX never used to have before. He's a danger. He really is.
EG on the back foot now off that. We'll see a slow beginning for here. FPX, double smokes comp. You need to be playing the map, the attack side, quite cautiously. You can see the star placed down. It's a recall. Hoping to take the angle, Boostio. Reactions far too good, though. Opening pick going their way.
And that's put a bit of fear into FPX as well. Drone is being used to clear out mid, expecting them to pivot away from B main. But it's just the brakes getting pumped here. Boostio's going to look for another one off the back of the drone clearing a bunch of space. Looking to see if he can find a duel over towards tiles. It looks like this is just going to be a regroup and B-pop called by Berlin posthumously.
Yeah, fully grouped up there. It's only going to be Ethan receiving this one. A knife earlier was broken into B main, and you can see him just floating around. Doesn't actually have any util to stop this one. Finally, the hit's coming through. A couple of stray bullets from the Classic. Not enough to do too much more. Door being closed. Boostio hoping to catch a cheeky timing. Denied with the door. The side's going to be gained for FPX. They don't have any B main control. Could play an important part in this one. Fully grouped up onto the side.
But the weaponry is just so low. It's only Boostio with a Sheriff. 4v5, FPX should still have an advantage.
Should have an advantage indeed. There we go. You caught the first one onto Ethan through lane. It's a triple phase. Lysor falls. The TP disengage all around, and it's just Calm left. He will fall. So 3 players surviving. Economy relatively healthy there for FPX. You can bring this one into the 3rd round, maybe get a decent bonus going.
Yeah, the weaponry is looking strong for them. I've been watching some of the FPX games, and their economy management is sometimes a little all over. I mean, even here, it looks like Ucore is going to try and get a Vandal into this round, despite the fact that he wouldn't have money to be able to buy up in the next. But, you know, sometimes those kind of risks are worth going for. Yeah, he's gone back over to the Bulldog here, so taking it a little more safely. EG, on the other hand, look like they're trying to set Demon 1 up, take early duels across B.
It's a heavy stack over there. It's the recalled star, at least the star placed down prior. Here's the benefit of some of these double smoke comps as well. One towards Cat, one towards mid. You can really just expend all of them early and not worry about it as much. Alarm bot at your feet, Berlin. Didn't really seem to be aware of the cause.
And FPX are a team that are going to force aim duels quite a lot. Their players haven't been in the most incredible form recently, but Lysor's always been hot. He backs away just before taking that duel against Demon 1.
Still holding the space.
And this is going to get set up for an A-split here, where Jorgamo is in the position to ruin it or go down and leave A completely undefended. He's only going to take a duel, though, against Nishar, essentially.
Plenty of noise being made, though. Calm spraying him down as they're just running it down all the way through, but Jorgamo he stays alive here into A main, holding this space as well. FPX make a call to try and flip the map, but they've stopped themselves just ever so slightly. The smoke's really just stopping it. Now they need to work out what they want to do. 40 seconds remaining. They do have some time to work with, but it's going to be running short in just a moment. Team 1 still seeking to contain. You can see him just watching that angle deep.
30 seconds
into
left.
mid. They know the potential positionings here. Team 1 will be able to see them crossing. Yeah, we can hear it as well. Dash active, brought down.
Great shot.
Wonderful stuff from Ayang. Set the Seekers on them as well. It's going to be good positioning, at least noted. Do they know Boostio's there? Slight misstep with the flash. There's only 12 seconds left. They don't get onto the side. It's Boostio who denies them that chance.
You can see what FPX were going for. The flash from Aang would have been great there to push Boostio off the line and make them advantaged in the duel. But they just couldn't quite get it. The flash, I think, connected with the wall and just kind of getting tangled up there in the architecture. Strange round, but that's what you're going to get from FPX, I think. They really like to mess with expectations.
New beginning here, a bit even when it comes to the rifles on either side. Again, pretty heavy emphasis being placed. Just a one-way smoke for Jorgamo.
But look at how much of an annoyance this star is down at the feet of Demon 1 and Jorgamo here. And this is the freedom that you have with the Astra. It's not that unusual of a composition. It might seem odd, but it's kind of similar to the Viper Sky compositions that we've seen some of the Americas teams run, like Cloud9 and Loud, I believe, at one point.
Yeah.
But the Astra utility can be used in more, varied ways. A flash to clear out wide.
Let's go deep. Jorgamo's not going to be playing there, though. Already moved from that position, still a slight jiggle, and really down to the minute mark, there hasn't really been much else movement. It's a reclearance, it's called by EG with a paranoia, sets him up, tagging him to Aang, but it doesn't matter. Demon 1 still wins his fight out, left down to 9 health. What's the response? Not too much else, still contact plays here, working themselves up towards Cat, FPX. Going for the 2-2 split, but EG still have players anchoring down, locking it down, rooted in place almost. There's a KO nade pushing him even further away. Time is really running short, and there is chaos in the mix. Lysor through the smoke. What kind of timing do you really want to take here? Waiting for the stars to be dropped down. There it is in front of them, but Jorgamo contained. Still brought down. Ethan is there with a trade. At the backside of Jenny, Spike's out in the open with 23 seconds left, looking for information, buying time. It's a 3-2-1 face. And EG, they've got the discipline for it.
Great containment by EG there. I think they worked out very nicely. They had a three-piece crossfire that was ready to melt any of the players that came through. Despite the player at Switch getting overwhelmed, Jorgamo's there. And this position of box is so nice. Not only does he hold that smoke over by Switch, but also he can swing at any point of Ethan or Demon 1's contact. You can tell that EG have really put the effort into refining these setups. And now Operator online for Demon 1. They've won enough rounds, despite the fact that Demon 1's not, up at the top of the scoreboard, for him to start getting a bit more aggressive and peek out.
Okay, plan for FPX, though, seems to be just brute force, overwhelming with the half-bite. Stingers, Sheriffs, fully grouped up, aren't they? Smoke dropped down off of that one portion of utility, and there's a lockdown committed by FPX.
On an eco round as well.
Yeah, that's why that's a bit unusual. And it has just essentially notified EG that they are going to be hitting this site. With Demon 1 holding that space still over towards B. Here's a paranoia sent flying 1-for-1, and still Ethan will collect. Bringing down one of the players. Flash also just pushing them back through the choke point. No one can really get into this. Beautiful dart. The supplementary utility just bogs them down.
Bit of an overinvestment there from FPX. Not sure why the lockdown was used in a round where you have such an economical disadvantage. Oh, that's the guy I've been playing with recently.
One enemy remaining.
Very nice utility defensively there from EG, but dealt with, I think, far too easily. We also saw a 0 point from Ethan that took away Yukor's Blade Storm right as he popped it. So that's a Jet ultimate that was supposed to be comboed in there with the lockdown.
No, Demon 1's got the off.
It's just a flash recon play, I think, here. Oh, it's gonna have a Hunter's Fury
right behind it, yep. As soon as the dart was broken, that's the trigger. The com's consistent with it, lets it loose. Up in mid, Demon 1. Of course, he's going to be finding it, but does he expect that? Goal! There's no shot!
That is just filthy!
Slight minor adjustment, another day in the office for Demon 1. Listen, he had a bit of a rough beginning to the map, but okay, he's warming up.
And think about how perfectly timed this investment of ultimates and in general just to play with the op going aggressive and the Hunter's Fury being used to halt this economy. FPX had just got a buy up. They're in a 4v5 instantly off the back of Com's play, and Demon 1 is picking apart the rest of FPX with ease. This is what EG did so well on their run towards Tokyo. They took one advantage and spiraled it into many. They win a pistol round, then they win a bonus, then they have ults up to be able to snowball. in terms of being able to set up these snowball moments, I don't think there's a team doing it better other than Fnatic. And even then, it's fairly dead even between the two.
A really good understanding of that. Just making sure that they can keep using the ultimates, keep them rolling. A lot of teams, you know, they think to save the Hunter's Fury, for example, for a Killjoy lockdown that might be coming. I mean, Lysol's nowhere near. Well, so that's not really a
Lysol gave him a very simple choice in the prior round.
Exactly, I will say that EG still, even when that's on the board, they don't really care. They will still use your ultimates to try and snowball the rounds and the economic advantage. Just force the time out of FPX.
And FPX have a lot to consider here. You know, attack side on this map, it's going to be a little difficult. But when you take a step back, FPX will have been extremely happy with the map vetoes. In terms of one area where they could have an opportunity to upset in this game, it's getting Ascent and Pearl in there. They have a combined 74% win rate on these two maps across their lifespan, which is extraordinarily good. I mean, Ascent in particular, they've only ever lost twice to Bilibili Gaming. So, you know, they are not a bad team on this map. It's been causing the Chinese teams a lot of issues, and EG chose not to get rid of their permaban Haven, or rather, chose not to pick FPX's permaban Haven, and instead get rid of it themselves. EG just very confident that they could play the maps that FPX are good at and beat them on it through, you know, just outclassing them.
Yeah, which is a reasonable expectation, I would say. You know, EG finishing second in Tokyo. Very deep run as well. Still a lot of naysayers as well that are doubting this team, and they want to see the consistency with those results. But I mean,
well, let's be
for
real,
my
it has
liking,
to be clean. This group has to be clean.
It does have to be clean. It should be a slam dunk for EG in this group in terms of them being favorites. But new beginning to the round. Again, it's FPX on the weaker buy. Similar game plan to what we saw last time on the half buy, only this time down towards Cat. Late lurk from one of the players. It's a Trailblazer. Clears out towards it. Corm is out in the open. Misstep there. Was not expecting these players to be so fast up onto that angle. Smoke down, dropping it. Jorgamoto reposition. Updraft to re-clear. And a flash is really quite nice. FPX coming straight into it. Great ideas of how they wanted to clear out the site there.
Specifically the updraft play and swinging through it. Really good coordination. And EG caught off by the tempo, as you were saying.
That's just okay.
Crucio caught by the spam. And suddenly, as quickly as the Seeker round started, it is over.
It's done just like that.
These are the moments where the Chinese teams could definitely catch you off guard. They play it at such a different tempo. You can see that Con was expecting to have that time to be able to throw a very well-set recon dart up into tree, and he was just rushed.
Yeah, overwhelmed. Demon 1 now being hunted down for that operator in his hands. They'd love to remove it, missing the shot, but his position is known now. They are quickly approaching his location, but this is really just going to be a firing range for him. He just needs to try and survive. There's a pull at his feet, smokes all around. Will he survive? Looks likely, so keeping the op.
But take a look at that. I mean, Com completely overwhelmed, and then a little flustered, perhaps a little whiffy from the other two players that rank here in the A site. You'd expect Jorgamo and Ethan to be able to catch one of those, but yeah, Ethan's reaction, I think, to that. And that ends us with that MasterCard Thrifty.
There's another round here with Demon 1 watching the top section of mid. He's going to get some action almost immediately. Not quite. Angle's cut off. Not been smoke in his face. It's one of the things that, in theory, oh my god! I mean, they're just rattling off bullets straight down the angle, so where somebody could be playing in and hiding. Almost claiming a freebie.
And this double smokes composition is going to put a lot of pressure on Demon 1 to find these good spots to play from. Good lineup there from Com, removes the turret. Means that Lysor's now going to be attached a bit more to watching out for B main. But FPX are going to take the time to commit to A, and that frees up the Killjoy once more to go for a lurk.
Nobody on EG is going to be playing onto the side here. Most of the setup from Tree, including the Killjoy Nanoswarm, so it's going to be completely wide open for them. Multitude of smokes laid down here, but here's the lockdown in play. It's going to be really clearing out most of the site. There has to be a call and a decision made by FPX. Do you choose to fight this one or not? A bit of confusion in the mix. They are really just staying grounded onto it. A bit of a dodge there from Berlin. Uses the ult, and he's still able to just sit himself into hell, but he needs to create more of a distraction. It's a triple face. EG, those fundamentals still reigning true, but they haven't cleared out B main. Still, Tree and Door needs to be watched for. Com brings it down, but still a smoke. Ethan sticking it. There's not enough damage. He's not pushed away from it. Round win for EG. Will they keep their guns till the bitter end? Ethan, no intention of peeking.
Big ultimate investment, but a nice retake from EG. I think FPX had a couple of different ways that they could approach that. Maybe just getting paralyzed with the amount of opportunities presented to them. They had Lightsaw, who could have gone for a backstab and synced up with some kind of tree push. And in the end, Yuko was just hoping to catch somebody that was pushing heaven as Berlin went for his ult dodge. But all right, still 3 rounds for FPX on attack side. It's not doing too badly, and there's still many more opportunities to rack up the score. Demon 1 looking for a different angle for the operator.
Oh, and it's just a classic play with the dart and a spam of the Odin. No one watching top mid. There's a chance there that Demon 1 got punished, but no. Dash to disengage, back away. Picking up the angle now once more, but it is FPX looking at that 4v5 disadvantage to them, and it's, well, cemented even further.
That's both of the smokes gone.
And now there's nothing to really stop Demon 1. He can take all of these line-of-sight angles. There has to be risk taken, and that's maybe what Yuko's doing. With that kill onto Com, close, it's missed. With the shot, that is a punish. It's 3 versus 3, just like that. Close to the corner is Ethan.
He's stuck here, though.
Yeah, there's no real support for him.
Ayoung still with 2 flashes. Ethan's got to be a little concerned about that, but we can see that Ayoung deep into B main is not going to be an issue.
It might just come down to individual gunfights. Still locking it down. It's a dash forwards, but there's no one else to follow up on that, so Ethan relatively safe and sound. FPX now just trying to get themselves through onto the site. With Boostio falling, might just get a little bit easier. Ethan, how do you play this? Do you take risks? Do you try and survive long enough for the team? No, he takes the peek and he will fall.
Looking to try and grab a timing there, and Ayoung, it looks like he's seriously informed. He's been very sharp in terms of hitting shots around the map. Puts his team in a 2v1 to win their 4th.
Jorgamo with the 1v2. Plenty of util left. Make all sorts happen with it. Smoke. Do you want to place this one? Dropping down. So one way towards the back of it. Paranoia there. TP close. Was that predicted? Lightsaw doesn't seem too likely still. Ayoung was there. Eventually the Paranoia, if it even did catch, was faded. So he gets the trade online. 5-4. Josh, this is looking almost evened up.
Yeah, it's a very nice round from FPX in terms of their individuals. Lightsaw manages to catch Demon 1, who was holding a bit too close of an angle, and the shot goes straight between the legs. But still, that's a very bold angle to be taken when you don't have that level of information in mid. And Ayoung, too, is able to win aim duels out around the map. Ayoung's currently at the top of the scoreboard. He was one of their best players, perhaps even their best at lock-in, and in the events prior.
Knives out, Demon 1. You're really trying to take that. There's no coverage. From the bottom section of mid, a push out through main. Will they deal with these players? EG are crumbling. It's Com. It's the last player left standing. Now they know exactly where he is. Ayoung feeling it, man. You can feel it. And so EG maybe feeling a little bit pressed to make these really proactive plays now on their defense, feeling like the game is slipping.
And they've just helped it slip a little further. Not a fan of that set play even at the best of times, but Yuko absolutely dismantles it, just swinging, ignoring the recon dart completely to take the aim duels in mid. And Demon 1 didn't even get a chance to set up. EG here are going to take a timeout, and I think it's time for us to assess these expectations again.
Oh yeah.
Once more, EG are massive favorites in this group. They've drawn a group that has a couple of teams that didn't do too well at Masters Tokyo, that ended up going out in groups despite, having some levels of success before that, and then FPX, a 3rd best team from China. Not an EDG that's gone on a run before at a big event. FPX have only won a single map at an international event, and that was against Carmine Core when they were playing Triple Initiator on Haven.
Trying to rally the fan base. Trust me, crowd work is hard.
Especially when your favorite team is currently dead even in a matchup that they should, on paper, be slaughtering. FPX are certainly bringing it. And I think one of the things that they're doing really well is just finding that form that actually has been slipping recently within China. Like I said, Ayoung was one of their best players around lock-in at the beginning of the year. And since then, he's just been looking not quite as hot in the Chinese tournaments. If he gets back up to form and they have Lysor and Yuikor playing, this team has serious chances of bringing it in the skill department.
EG really do need to tighten up as well the way they're playing around this. There's a lot of opportunities that they're granting. I think FPX, they would love it if they handed all of these individual fights. That's the way it's been going so far. A real chance here for FPX to gain that lead in the first half of this map, despite there only being 2 rounds left. They have the economic advantage. It's only Demon 1 with the rifle who they really have to worry about. Taking mid control, nice and early. Not smoking off the top section of it. Actually, just hoping for a fight.
The 1-3-1 setup that FPX has been running in a lot of these rounds where they take mid control is very crew-esque. You know, just controlling the aggression on the outsides of the map, going deep with Yuikor and Ayoung in the middle. Demon 1 with a hero rifle is going to try and take a fight.
You're looking at Demon 1 really to find those openings. Backs away though. Bit of information. Seekers now let loose. Not too many of them going into the direction towards A. Jorgamo tucked himself towards main. Will not survive though. Out towards Y. That's a skill. Okay. Dash is still there for him. Dart is good with the reveal. But tucked behind Jenny, still alive. And kicking Ethan. Tucked inside the smoke that they suspected. They're body blocking right into each other. Surely they think that he's there. Finds the timing. Finds the kill. But is brought down in the end. Com. He's left alone to do it. But already this plant is down. Post plant looking good. Turret going to be spotting out Com's location. Look at this from FPX, already setting themselves up to group up and take the fight. Ayoung's got no teammates with him, does not care.
And this is now solidly a fantastic half from FPX. To be able to get up to 6. Sure, they grabbed a pistol, but those are really significant big rounds to be able to take on the attack side of Ascent. There is a reason why this team is 8-2 on this map. And I feel like perhaps a little bit of overconfidence, maybe a little hubris, has led EG to pick in a map pool that is extremely good for FPX. When you have the depth like this, when you have the depth and the map pool advantage, I think often you benefit from just removing your opponent's best. That's not the strategy EG went with.
Here we go, last chance in the first half. Demon 1 with the operator once more. Another setup here with the Hunter's Fury. Something triggered it. Demon 1 trying to set himself up through with the chaos. The Hunter's Fury does cleave.
And in the meantime, your IGL Omen is swinging with the attack side operator. Of course he is. Just Berlin things.
He's backing away now though with the spike. The rest of his team pushing themselves up into 4 positions here. A main control. He's how still holding on to itself. Finally regrouping. Is there a rifle for Berlin? I feel like you don't want an op in this scenario, but we'll see what he can do with it.
They certainly had enough cash to be able to give him a rifle as well as the operator, but I don't know whether they did.
Here we go. Smoke's dropped down now. One at a choke point, Boostio. What kind of timing do you choose to take it? There's an alarm bot at your feet. It's broken. He anticipated it. Somebody was creeping up onto that corner. Jorgamo to reposition with the TP. Needs some help though. Boostio through the smoke. Taking the fight right to it. Not enough to reset to claim that second. Jorgamo, he's still alive, anchoring towards the back, but he's fired shots off now, just creating a bit of distraction. The rest of his team helping him out, but Com is brought down. Time needs to be bought here. I mean, Jorgamo's already deep into the site. Ethan's not there with him. It's brought into this 1v1. Ethan! Consistency laid bare. It's 6-6.
6-6, and he's dropping the back.
Yeah, I don't think they're quite there yet, to be honest. They've really done enough to be getting away with that still.
I mean, I can feel a bit of excitement brewing for an enormous upset. I don't know about you.
6-6 is not where we were expecting, not what we were anticipating, but yeah, that's where we're looking at right now. The #1 America's seed versus the 3rd in China. Desk, what are you making of it?
Thank you very much, Bren. And Saisho not expecting perhaps a curse here in the arena. Who knows? But let's take a look at the Verizon high-speed moment, because despite the fact that EG only managed to get 6 rounds, Mimi, Demon 1 was on form.
But the thing is, Demon 1 was on form. This is great. I mean, this clip was ridiculous. I feel like this is an EG that has had to, in this half, even just to get 6 rounds, rely a lot more on these individual moments. This wasn't what was happening at Tokyo. Sure, there were individual step-ups, and it's always good to have, but they were consistently able to take down teams like FPX. Here, EG has been struggling to contend with their weird style, and I think FPX is playing to an expectation far above what anyone would have set for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the major thing that I've noticed is they're just willing to take their time when they're down a guy. Like how many first bloods did EG get there from Demon 1? And then they just slow the round down, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, EG starts like freaking out. And I wouldn't say freaking out, but they start getting antsy.
I mean, as you guys heard from Boostio in the pre-match as well, he only expected FPX to get 8 rounds, not on one map, Mimi, in this entire series. And FPX, they've got 6 already, so it's not looking very good for Boostio.
Yeah, I think this is far less dominant than EG would have thought it was going to be. The setup here was that EG needed a dominant group. This was their chance to get out, to continue going as they were. And right now they're struggling a little bit against this double controller comp. But in the second half, it's really, again, this question of how is FPX going to play this one? Because I think we saw the ideas with it in the first half, being able to scale out sites, put down these weird smokes to get space. I think that's a little harder to get value out of on defense.
Yeah, you know what? I almost want EG to like let them have 8 rounds already, so they can just have that out of their mind. Like I feel like they might be just trying to like play a little bit too much to that, and I feel like we'll see the real EG once that 8-round mark gets passed up. So I really hope, you know, that this pistol round is one from FPX.
Oh, okay, baby. Not what I expected there. Sideshow and Brent, what did you make of that?
Listen, I'm all here for it. I mean, throw some chaos into the mix. The #1 seed from America getting upset by FPX, you know, the 3rd seed out of China. I would love that, honestly, for the group stage, because otherwise this group would be largely quite predictable.
People keep saying that it's going to be a predictable group. Well, no, if things continue in this way.
Exactly.
EG getting set up. And one of the things that you can look at from FPX's side is how they favor attack and defense on Ascent. Usually, all teams are going to be defense-sided on this map. It's the opposite for FPX. They normally win about 60% of the time on attack and less than 50% on defense. So there's still great chances.
Yeah, flash and dart to clear most of it, but doesn't clear the players up into heaven. There's a high-low setup down below, but they're not winning the fights out. It's EG coming out on top.
And this one's going to be extremely difficult for the 2 smokes players, Nisha and Berlin, to be able to get back in on. One paranoia, maybe a stun or a pull, but Berlin goes in ahead of Nisha, trying to make something happen. And this looks like an extremely clean pistol.
Yeah, very clean. Kind of response I think you'd probably want if you're a fan of North America.
I mean, they are giving them the business.
They really are.
I could understand it if EG were up 8-1 or something like that, but considering FPX are really pushing them and had a nice looking attack side, they're setting themselves up for something.
Set themselves up for...
Might be another G at the end of this and some egg on the face.
What did Mimi say? If FPX have the potential to do the funniest thing in Valorant history.
Do the funniest thing.
Yeah, we could see it. Everyone's here to play. It's champs at the end of the day, so... 7-6, EG. Big advantage of the economy. Deep flash, Ayang.
Take flight.
Getting that information, but it's a very spread out attack side default from EG, so it doesn't really grant them too much more. Drone sets up Jorgamo, so he can hold on to this A main control, grab the orb, spray a couple of bullets, and it has pulled a ton of players from FPX over.
I really like the usage of these smokes that bloom out of the choke point, as you can see here on A. It just puts a lot of pressure. It's drawn a ton of players over towards the A side. 4 players there trying to defend it from FPX because they got utility denied, any of the, information denied. Any of the attacking players could just spill through the smoke in a multitude of angles. And EG are still playing very spread. The way that EG like to play their attack side throughout Tokyo and the run towards the latter stages of VCT Americas was that they would try and take map control and insert Demon 1 somewhere to force a pick. But at the moment, he's just grouped up with Ethan, playing things together.
Relatively cautious, but it looks like it's trending towards a bit of this B split, which leaves it up to Berlin. He's only got a classic, so unlikely to get too much done, but maybe, well, there was a chance. There was util out in the hands of Boostio. The rest of FPX now scampering and scurrying all the way over. Bit of a clearance here towards mid-com. Needs to not lose this gun, and well, the Bulldog definitely got that damage advantage. There's the fundamentals, Ethan. Helping him out. Swigging out through onto market, just trying to spot out where Isao is. Ethan, yeah, facing it. So, very clean. Flawless, in fact.
Not too bad. EG really look like they've woken up on the attack side here. We'll see if it continues into a bonus. When EG were going on that dominant run at the beginning of Tokyo, they were winning almost 70% of their bonus rounds, which is just a ludicrous amount. Prime Game and Flawless is going to really help them keep the economy looking fairly strong. Now, having said that, they did have 2 Spectres and a Stinger. It's not like they have the biggest bite here to go in. Haven't managed their economy to get the most amount of rifles online, but grouping up here for just a heavy B hit. Looking to try and overwhelm Lysor.
And Lysor playing in front of the turret. Unorthodox, unexpected. Right in front of the turret, in fact.
Not a great idea on an anti-eco, I don't think.
I mean, Util out in the hands, panicking when the paranoia was sent flying, and Demon one man. It's precise, it's surgical, over the top. Dash still there. Yuko inside the smoke. Could he answer back? Not any chance of it fading anytime soon. Doesn't take the timing just yet. Still waiting. The rest of his team look like they're almost set up here to just save these rifles.
And Yuko's just spamming through to see if he can find anything, but that's it. That is it. One small mistake. And EG all grouped up in the same place. And it's over for FPX in this round. EG take a pistol, spiral it into a bonus. And now they're 1 away from getting Demon 1's knives, 3 away from having Com get up to an ultimate. So you'd expect to see Com or potentially Ethan here chasing to try and get these kills. They certainly want to damage the economy of FPX as much as they can.
And they should be hunting.
Com's looking for it.
Spots the one. Rest of his team now grouping up, but looks like they have no intention of just trying to take that fight.
No, it's just a little a standoff, a stalemate happening over here.
The trenches are dug out, yeah.
Fair enough. Bit of respect shown.
If we go easy on them, they will never learn.
With that save, FPX are going to have enough for a serious buy here in round 16. And this is where they need to halt the momentum. You take a look at how this worked. I mean, Lysor's in front of his turret, as you were pointing out, Brent, with utility in hand. That's just not a sensible decision, and I think he knows it, judging by that reaction.
Keep it up.
On the big stage, sometimes these things can just catch you off. You find yourself playing in a manner you don't do in scrims.
It's very common, in fact. EG are mounting this lead. Deep dart over, that's going to tag onto Ayang, and there's no time wasted with this one. The flash slight. Blind there onto Demon 1, but he is not wasted time. He's all the way through into tree, smoke drop down and a dash forwards. Crosshair placement, excuse me. Cut up for the moment. There's going to be a pull through the choke point, but is it too late? It might just be. Still players into the site. Yuko from heaven. He's eventually traded, but he's still doing the damage. Flash through, even just again, blindly firing. And Lysor out in the open, getting his ankles broken. Jorgamo is there with a Guardian.
And this attack side has just been dominant. I mean, your expectations for the match met here completely in the 4 rounds that we've seen so far on attack. FPX are not able to hold on, and EG are disrespecting them. The pace at which Demon 1 is just running into sight, no cares given.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of these rounds, it's just been such a rapid pace off the rip.
It's been very disrespectful, I think, in terms of not really caring if FPX are in a position to try and punish them.
Yeah.
Especially on that split through A. You know, normally teams are a little diligent. There's some utility thrown towards tree to make sure that someone can swing through the smoke, and maybe you pause for a moment to make sure you're all perfectly set up and the spacing's good. Whereas instead there, you just see EG barreling forwards, determined to bulldoze over FPX.
Yeah, not worried about, you know, any semblance of plays. The Astra stars that you could use, I mean, plenty of util to try and slow you down. You think about the Astra in place of like maybe a KO on a defensive setup, so they'd have, you know, a nade, flashes, the knife even, to just try and delay. They're just not worried about it.
No, I mean, EG, I think, have a little talk with themselves probably during the halftime and have decided that they just want to overpower FPX.
Yeah.
Sometimes the faster you play and the more aggressively you play, the more mistakes you force out of your opponent. And with a team like FPX, yeah, they've got strong players, and they can certainly win aim duels and create some chaos and interesting strategies. But they also make a ton of mistakes. And you take the good with the bad when it comes with teams like FPX. But when you're playing against them, trying to force out those mistakes is often a key win condition.
What's interesting here is Demon 1 now has picked up the operator. off the back of a lot of fast execs into sights. I wonder if EG were just trying to condition it. And now going into much slower play, you are really forced down to a crawl. Of course, Demon 1 does have the Blade Storm, so they can speed it up at any time. It's not going to be limited to just the weaponry. Hunting for a pick.
They may have been anticipating some kind of half-buy tiles crunch play there. But FPX are forced with 2 Bulldogs.
Drone broken, bit of damage there, the bullets landing. Not enough for the kill. Jorgamo survives over the top, breaking the Trailblazer. Doing enough in the early portion of this round as well, removing and cutting away any information FPX are trying to get just through the sky util.
Potential
still
for
have 2 flashes.
Potential for a jet battle here on Catwalk. Actually, though, FPX looking like they want to reclear through A main.
They didn't even use a flash for it. Just a recall star in a face.
Yeah.
Fully grouped up and pushing now.
I quite like it, though. You don't give any indication to EG that you're in this area of the map.
Oh, and they are pushed deep. Lambot's being broken. EG are not aware of this.
30 seconds left.
It's going to be happening behind them. Demon 1, he misses it. Back being faced to Young. Flash round to the side here, and here's the players from the top section of mid. All of that deep flank. Demon 1 left to try and contain and push them back. Lysor capitalizing off of it. Swinging in the midst of all of that, and time is running more than short right now. There's about 11 seconds left. They don't have control of A main, don't have control of the site, and Ayang dealing damage and a death and a blow. Nizhao still in control of it with all that positioning gained prior.
What a great call by Berlin there. What a fantastic decision to triple reclear through A main. They left a gaping gap over towards Tree, but Demon 1 with the Operator is not really going to be in a position to try and push forwards aggressively and take that space. He's looking for picks. Here's another very important duel as Boostio swung into Lysor, who was the only player defending the B split through Market, and Lysor wins the duel.
Now one call, changing the tide of things here. But we see a return to the faster plays of EG. That was what was winning them these rounds on the attack side. Yuko, though, Operator, misses the flick, Ethan. He was watching it from the top side of mid. Had the protocols there.
And that's a very bold play to go for Yuko when nobody's watching your top mid and there's no utility really to block that off.
Another clearance, that's just contact plays into main. Jorgamo spots it out, had the ult in his hands, thinking about a quick pivot. Maybe still considering it. Call yet to be made by the rest of the team, but they are grouping up now over towards B, and they have pushed Demon 1 into a deep 4 position into mid. Paranoia reclear.
Lysor's got to back off now.
Yeah, he's got to play around your util, but still, Lysor's just holding his ground, and he falls TP into the back. Berlin, he does remove him. Jorgamo's gone. Hunter's Fury, though, there's a connection. There is the kill. Com is getting value from it. Shot missing, Demon 1 into mid. The Seeker's distracting him, or what? Not too sure, but still, it's a 2v3. FPX could make something of this one. Nizhao just trying to play this one fast and loose as well, not waiting for any sort of timing. Spotted out, though. There's a double face. Ayang! He's brought it down into a 1v1. And Com playing into main. Ayang still, he spotted him surely. Just the edge of the gun, edge of the weaponry. Oh! Nails the shot.
Ayang has just been incredible for FPX here in map 1. Winning the duel against Demon 1's Operator, comes through, claims another 3 kills. Perfect trade into backside, and identifies compositioning, remembering that Hunter's Fury earlier on. Look at the aim. It's so sharp from him.
Yeah, that is top form. He's feeling it.
And like I said, this is such a revival for him. He's looked a little limp recently in the last couple of months. But you know he's got that quality.
Definitely seen it before.
Yeah, he's got star player aim on the Flex Initiator role, often playing Sky, able to take these kind of duels. And at the moment, he's having an excellent game and keeping FPX within touching distance of EG.
And forcing that timeout out of EG once more. We've reached a round limitation, Josh. You were interviewing in the morning with the arrivals.
I was, yes.
Yeah.
He said 13-4, 13-4.
Well,
that ain't happening.
Yeah, that ain't happening. Not at this rate. It is steadily getting closer and closer, creeping towards the danger zone. You know, we were saying earlier as well, we needed to see the adjustments from FPX after losing was it 4 rounds in a row, you can see from the timeline on their defense side, and the adjustments have been there.
They certainly have. I think one of the key adjustments has been their ability to re-clear through A main. I mean, that's what we've seen in round 17 and 18, that's given them such freedom to be able to rotate people off. Because once they realize that A main is clear, they're completely aware that EG are going into B splits or looking towards tree. This time, I think EG are looking to try and adapt upon the adaptation. They look like they want to take much earlier A main control. At least Jorgamo's positioned more aggressively.
That's a crazy way to peek that with the updraft, but spots a player towards top mid. Yuko going to be pinging it out and repositioning, making sure he stays fluid with the operator. It's pretty important. Double clearance now over towards Cap from EG, droning into mid to just try and, you know, hide the intent of what they're going for with this hit. Is there any util to clear this corner off? Just a smoke and a flash. Ethan right behind him. Who wins this fight out? Dash is still there, an active jump spot onto the left side. Demon One has tucked himself into that corner.
Jorgamo's been spotted in A main as well. He's had to back off, so that may have ruined the timing. They might want to pivot this, move away from tree and go into a B split again.
Flash doesn't get deaded. Second one does though. Yeah, this has been slowed. Down to 35 seconds now. Bustio being pushed. Wow. What an angle to peek off the alarm box. Contact! Instantly responded, and meanwhile, there's a battle taking place on the other section of the map, but EG have no intention of going over towards A. Straight down mid, right into Lysor, the difference maker. The spikes drop down. It is carnage occurring. Damage definitely done. Lysor needs to try and play for his life. Still, Yuko's picked up the angle a little bit too late here. Paranoia out in the open. Lysor can't land the kill. 11 bullets and towards the backside of it. Ethan's there. Jorgamo collects. 12 seconds left, and they are going to be able to get this plant down. The site is opened. It's Ayang in a 1v2. The form has been good, but does not expect it. The positioning, or repositioning of Jorgamo, enough to clinch the round.
Jorgamo's positioning in that round was just madness too. I mean, he's up close towards A main at the start of the round and then throwing his paranoia, just kind of bunny hopping towards Lysor. But here's where Ayang made this round winnable, and Lysor as well. These two continue to win Angels very consistently against EG. This time not quite enough, but still pushed. EG though creep further and further to the finish line.
An important thing to note as well is the economy taking a bit of a tumble. Pistols for FPX, plenty of ults to use here, trying to play aggressively, spamming through the wall with it, dart tagging. Lysor in so much trouble. I mean, just facing wide here. Lockdown, used, shot missing. The bunny hops just narrowly avoiding all these bullets that are flying straight through them, but you got to respect this lockdown now. Has to be the evacuation. Is there any sort of utility to stop it? Updraft, dash, yep, nade into the corner, along with the Nana Swarm. It clears them out. Pushes them back, gives that player advantage, but for EG right now, still, the post plan actually, as long as they get this plant down, is actually quite good. They have been main control still, and with that kill, again, the advantage keeps going their way. Flash and a repeat, slight miss, but still with the rifles. Maybe they can get these kills up. Yuko, last one left, not for much longer. 12-8, one more round for EG.
Match point.
FPX need 4 in a row to be able to draw this into overtime. I think that's going to be a challenge for them. They've looked good. They have a lot of big ultimates, but the way in which they're getting results is, you know, forcing EG to take unfavorable duels and ended up winning them with Ayang and Lysor. I just don't think, I think there's been too many mistakes for them to win 4 in a row. They're going to have to really bring the consistency here towards the end of map 1.
Let's see if it can happen. Still with the attack side operator, Demon One will be forced to slow this one down, but EG look like they're almost setting up for play into the site.
This has been red. You can see both the Killjoy and the Astra deep back in spawn, playing anti-KO ult setups. They can still pull and stun and activate smokes, have those nanoswarms popped off, but it does mean that they lack a ton of map control. They're essentially playing, you know, 3v5 up until the site hit comes through. Yeah. They were expecting EG to pick up that ult orb and go straight into a hit.
Jorgamo placing the deep smoke. Dart as well into mid. Again, FPX don't really have a clue what could be occurring. Star still into the choke point. With this, yeah, no command comes through, and they are going to be able to dead these, so look at that. It's going to be the pull online, but they just wait it out. Berlin still anchoring towards the back, cannot use the util. Will the push come through? Demon 1, I mean, he's just entering for them with the operator. The rifles will clean it up in the end. Shots hitting. Everybody on form right now for EG, and they can feel it. This is it. Precipice to try and take away map number 1. Team hungry to get this done and over with just like that. Map number 1 will be theirs. It's a 13-8 finish for EG. A credit to FPX, definitely pushing them.
But that is FPX's, in theory, best map, and EG have just taken it in 13-8. You know, a great performance from Ayoung, I think, in terms of his individual form, looked very sharp, but EG were certainly able to pull ahead on their attack side. FPX only winning 2 defensive rounds on Ascent. That tracks with how they've played the map historically. They're much better on the attack side than the defense side. Still some holes in their game, but you can see that when FPX have their moments, they look like they're going to be able to take rounds away. The question really is if they can turn that into maps or even a series.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of that individual step-ups of form, not really the prior planning of any sort of defensive setups, the good ideas. And honestly, a lot of disrespect, I think, being showcased by EG. They were definitely taking a lot of those individual duels when playing with the solid fundamentals that carried them to that second place finish at Tokyo.
I think they had some moments of it,
yeah,
and some moments that slipped. And to be honest, that's going to be a continuing question throughout their run. I don't think we're going to learn everything we want to know about EG from one series. It's going to be a course of the entire group.
I couldn't agree more. Waiting to see if those questions are still being answered. But of course, plenty more of the series, of course, left to play. On top of that, that was only just map number 1.
Hey, and FPX are pretty decent at Pearl. That's coming up next.
Yeah, lots of chances for them to do some more damage, maybe just make it much more even over the course of this series. Well, we'll find out anyway. That is map 1, all wrapped up for it. Surprise and elation on the face of the EG players. We're right back after this with the rest of the series. Do not go anywhere.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Potter, you know, there has been a substantial gap between these events, Tokyo till today. What has the team been working on? What has been the main point of preparation for the team to get them ready? Because it was a little slow start, but it looked like they were revving up out there.
It was definitely a slow start. The boys were complaining about being cold, things like that. So we literally had to warm up into map 1. But for us, we felt like our map pool was not as deep as we wanted, not as many layers. So you know what, we have Pearl coming up in map 2. That's one of the maps that we wanted to punish pick in Tokyo. I think for Champions, we're ready. We're about to prove it right now in the server.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to that one, Pot. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Have a good one.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy and Potter. I'm back here with Baby Bay and Mimi. There is nothing scarier than Potter telling you that they got stuff prepared and they can't wait to show it.
Yeah, this is the team who will always have something cooked up, and I feel like that does summarize the game a lot. It was really slow for EG. I think some of the fundamentals were having issues, and FPX is a team that's really good, even when they go down in players, at converting those chaotic rounds at the end to make it close. But Baby, once we switched to that second half, it was such a dominant run from EG.
Yeah, I mean, first bloods are very important in this game, and the amount of first bloods that EG got compared to FPX was, I mean, even from the first half was a lot, like a big differential. So the fact that they were able to maximize on those on attack, it's really important.
Well, let's take a quick stop in the aim lab shoot around and check in on Jogamo, see how he's doing, if he's still cold, but it feels like they've definitely warmed up already after that first map.
Jaw's one of those players that I think went from being the biggest player on EG. Last year, he was the guy everyone hyped up, how good he was on Raze. I thought he was one of the best in North America at that age, and I don't know about that one. Little weird from him there. But I feel like now, after being on this controller role for a while, he's actually gotten so consistent. He had a great tournament at Masters and has thus far been continuing that here at Champs.
You're just laughing at his cross.
Yeah, I can't believe this. I want to see him use this in game, but yeah, but to Mimi's point, he is sick. He's a sick player, and he is most known for his Raze, but every single time I see him play this Omen, he's getting more and more impact. Kind of reminds me of like Marv in a way, like Marv vibes from last year.
Yeah, I could see it out of Jojimo here. He's just been such a strong and consistent force for this team. You think about the 3 core members, Calm, him, and Busio, who've been on this EG roster for so long. It really feels like they were all peaking at the right time, right? Busio as well, having a crazy tournament at Masters, showing up in this game as well. Like, when this team needs that step up, these guys, I feel like, really can bring the firepower, even though that's not normally what we talk about with EG.
I mean, Calm is another player that I knew you were super impressed with at Tokyo.
Yeah. I mean, his ult, like his Sova ults are just something crazy. Like I think he like, I don't know what the average is, but he gets a kill every single time he ults, and I feel like that's very rare. I, for one, cannot get any kills with Sova ult in range.
Did you ever play an agent other than Jet, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like once or twice, maybe, across a career?
2 times.
Okay.
I mean, Baby Sova incoming, who knows? But we've heard from Potter already for the side of EG. Let's hear what Coach Nathan had to say ahead of map 2. He's standing by with Golden Boy.
Thank you so much, squad. Yes, I'm here with Coach Nathan as well as Wendy, our translator. So let's just jump right into this here. Coming into Champions, what was the most important thing that you wanted FPX, this team, to focus on? And also, how are you going to get the team back in map 2?
那第一个问题整个问题想问一下我们 Nathan 教练的是，其实来到冠军赛，来到 LA， 你觉得整个的队伍，你觉得你们更应该注重在哪一个方面呢？同时，可能在下一张图在深海明珠的时候，怎么样才能够打回来呢？
我觉得我们注重的是就是吸取强队经验嘛，但是不是在一级身上吸取。然后还有就是我们图2，我觉得我们只要打好我们的，我们刚输了一些人数优势的残局，如果我们能把握住的话，我觉得我们正常打就可以获胜了。
We feels like for the champions, our main goal is we would like to learn more from different strong teams. We would like to accumulate more experience, but not learn from EG, hopefully. And also for the preparation in Pro for the next map, we feels like for the first map, we just made some mistakes here and there. For some clutch, we didn't manage to get the win. So if we just focus on our own performance, try our best, we still got the chance to win the second map.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to seeing if FPX can take us to a map 3. Good luck, Coach. Back to you guys.
I mean, they do have a chance to bring it back. And Baby Bay, I know they lost on map 1, but we saw flashes of brilliance. We saw what they were trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, Young is cracked. He's very good. I mean, like, we saw him just crispy. We saw him win the clutch round, too. And Lysor's a little bit of a crazy man, but, you know, I could see the skill in his aim as well. And I think this is a good map, you know, for people that have really great aim, you know, Pearl.
I absolutely think so too, and I like the approach that we heard there from Coach Nathan for FPX. You think back to EDG, it was a long time coming for them to start performing consistently internationally, to make that run at Tokyo. They made it to 2 other global events before that where they were struggling. I think for these Chinese teams who maybe don't have the greatest scrim environment to get exposed to a lot of different international teams, just getting an opportunity to come here to learn, to play against teams of a different style and a top level is great. And if they can continue that through, if they can take a map off EG, leave a mark in some way, that's even better. But Potter was saying EG had something prepped, and in the Prime Gaming Agent Select, they're switching over, Baby, to a comp that a lot of people have been playing in North America. It was kind of first seen in Ascension with M80 and the Guard going back to the Sova KO comp.
Yeah, I haven't seen them run this comp in a very, very long time. Last time I scrimmed them on this comp was probably like, I don't know, maybe like even like the beginning of the year.
It was the old meta, yeah.
Yeah, Demon 1 wasn't even on the team, honestly.
I mean, every time they've kind of injected Sova into a comp, it's always worked out pretty well, right?
Yeah.
We also do see, I think it's good for them, right? This is a great agent for comp, as you were talking about. It's the ult where he's so successful with consistently. FPX, on the other hand, though, are back to the double controller shenanigans again. I think with new Pearl, though, there are some ideas you can do. On the defensive side, you can hold down that B site really well with constant smokes to drop, to actually block off that choke point. But on the attacking side, I'm guessing it'll be similar to Ascent, where we're seeing them use that to scale.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this Omen is played at. Like, is he going to play aggressive? Like, how is he going to do this? Because you're missing out on the KO potential, or like even just the Harbor, which is like mad delay, right? So I'm wondering if he's going to use this Omen as like an entry to go in with the Jet.
Boostio gave us an ultimatum at the beginning of this game. They're only going to get 8 rounds across the series.
Yep.
They got 8. So if EG want to stick to that, if Boostio wants to prove himself right, they're going to need to 13-0. Last time they had one of those, it was against Loud. They lost it. They have a chance to maybe reverse that history here to keep things up. But with FPX sneaking away with so many rounds on Ascent, something tells me that won't happen.
Honestly, even if they get 1 round of prove Boostio wrong, in my eyes, that's a win. That is a win for the side of FPX. But will we see a 3rd map? Here is the question. Let's find out and send it back to Bren and Sideshow for the 2nd map.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, no time wasted with this one. We are already jumping into the first pistol round. The barriers are about to drop. And fully grouped up from FPX. The exception is a little bit of presence being shown, at least into mid, while they try and take that A main control.
It's a little bit of a fake, though, isn't it? Berlin using that teleport to get away, making it sound like they've taken A control. And that's not bad either. The 0 point actually does catch onto Eyang, really makes it feel like there's a lot in A main instead of Art.
Plenty of players on the other side of this one. Trailblazer, that's going to be the trigger. Demon 1 gets out of there.
He went back for the repeat.
Yeah, he really did. One more kill and he's got his dash back. He wants even more! And they're going to give it to him. 3 kills. On for the ace. Spike drop down. Knows where Nizhao is, but denies that chance. Still left in a 2 versus 4. Eyang now opting into just contacting, but Ethan with the jiggle. Doesn't want to give away too much, and yet calls the peak timing together. And the backstab is on its way. There it is.
Very nice pistol round from EG. I mean, especially powered by Demon 1, just hitting those shots with the Ghost. Impressed with the crosshair placement on the first repeat too. Knew exactly where that opponent would be. I think it's Yuko. Oh no, my apologies, Lysor. Then ends up getting taken down there very easily. I'm not too mad though about how FPX has been approaching this. I feel like the games I was watching in China, there was a lot of silliness going on from this squad, Brent. And I feel like they've toned it down quite a bit. It's always difficult when you come into big international tournaments like this, trying to select the right amount of risks to take.
So you're the opposite of me. I want to see more silliness. I want to see it turned up.
Yeah, maybe that is the win condition, to be honest. Demon 1's feeling confident here.
Yeah.
Solo looking for a fight for the first 15 seconds of mid.
Common's not holding this with a gun. Now he can hear the footsteps. He's got to run all the way back to Paranoia. That's a great connection and a dash engaged to punish. Demon 1, though, is there instantly. The dash is well to back away. Still enough damage done. Lysol will fall. Another dash in the back pocket. Shots going wide. Out to the side. Ethan makes sure that he can contain. He does get the spike down. Dropped into position, but they gave up control of R, so he has to re-clear that one.
In the meantime, Nichao going for a bit of a lurk play through. They thought they'd got rid of the alarm bot in B-Link. Instead, Boostio had it watching that little player, B-Long.
And Jorgamo as well is just pushing his entire time out behind him into mid. Bustio landing it. Sao falling. Ayang, the form has been impeccable. The Guardian has got it, baiting the peak. Couple of shots sent out. The reposition. Does he expect where Jorgamo is? Which way?
There's just no way.
Going. 20 seconds left. Still contacting. Missing the timing.
Did Jorgamo spot him?
I don't think so. He's looking towards double doors the entire time.
He's
12
heard it
seconds.
now.
So yeah, Ayang has to get a move on. Has to run if he's going to
10
make any
seconds
chance this round. Semblance of a conversion. There's really no time left here. I mean, 4 seconds remaining. Has to get off of it when he hears it.
Interesting play by FPX. We already see one of the ideas that the Omen is going to provide on this map. That paranoia was really quite nice. Set them up for a deep play into mid. Completely caught the first pick. But we're going to have to see more. It's such an unusual composition to be playing. Your questions come, where does the value come from? How are you going to get enormous amounts of value from the Astra and the Omen? And of course this map, with it being changed, the defense side, you've got ways of being able to hold on to either site with the single smokes. Don't necessarily need the Viper or the Harbor anymore.
The premium being played here for EG. Into the mid. Through the double doors. Demon 1, all that work prior. Those 5 kills. He's built up the Blade Storm. Hear the footsteps now. Wants to take the fight to it. Shut down. Ayang.
What a shot.
That is nasty. It's hard to hit that. The jumping jet gliding through the air. He plucks Demon 1 out of the sky. There's a re-clear called, it looks like, by EG into main. Leaves it really just up to Ethan to clear into the connector.
I like this idea, but also FPX slowing things down. It's a great call by Berlin.
Even a Trailblazer now to clear the space out. They otherwise wouldn't have. Dog broken. I don't know if it cleared Tom. Not too aware of this one. Another paranoia, really. These main players are really finding it difficult to just get through this one. Maybe a bit of counter spam in order still. FPX, you core! Oh yeah, finding all sorts of kills. Bustio now left to try and play this retake. Just the Marshal. So unlikely, and yeah, the rifles sailing FPX through quite cleanly.
Great round from FPX. I love the calls from Berlin. He's been at the bottom of the scoreboard, but I think in terms of how he's leading his team around the map, they've got some great ideas. And Ayang continues to just deliver ridiculous shots. Look at that little reaction there from Demon 1. That's a reaction of respecting his opponent. This is another map where FPX are able to use the same style of composition, in fact the exact same composition as on Ascent. Another map where they're extremely good on the attack side. In China, they tend to win 60% of their rounds on Pearl attack.
I got the spike.
Flash through to re-clear now into Art. UG also making a play of their own. That was a dart dash set up with the flash from Ethan all the way at the back. He's already rotated though. And Ethan's given up that middle area.
Ethan's going to have lots of these long-range flash lineups. You see him play them on Ascent too, just to support people, combo them with the recon darts.
Now the dog pushing through, they can hear, again, the rumbling of the footsteps forwards. Shocked at, good damage done, but already the dash forwards to get themselves into the side here. FPX looking to see if they can land some shots, get some kills. Ucore walking right into them. CG, they're just being handed these kills here. Bustio was alone and isolated towards the back of the site. There is chaos created when the smokes are propped up like this, yet Ayang, great chance for him to really do some damage into the backlines there, but no, brought down in the middle of it still. Spike retrieved, a tap onto it. Again, trying to force that reaction out, but just Lysol walking right into the nade. Opens it out, and Demon 1, he's feeling crispy.
Very tough for Lysol to be able to get the spike down in that spot. Great utility usage from Ethan. The fragment grenade there is just completely denying the only safe spot that they could really play from.
Yeah.
And that's a killer, because if Lysor had been able to get that, he's got the lockdown maybe available. There were a couple of different ways that FPX could have won that round. Young as well, on his little load play through mid. But EG deal with another dangerous situation, find themselves up 3-1. Is this going to be the round where we see a big clash towards an extremity? Really, EG have been letting them get away with taking map control quite a lot.
Yeah. Have to anticipate the lockdown in play. They have fully alled in, aren't they? FPX are not really playing any other area of the map. Here's a lockdown. Drop that one. There's no tools to really break this one unless EG have cooked up some lineup. And as I say that, nades, there needs to be something else.
No, it's close enough.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Enough damage done. Fully with the lineup, Ethan. He's really being pressured into the back. Flash rebounded off to the side, takes the peek off of it, runs out of bullets though. Can't exchange the weaponry still. The team are there to flood in and help them out. Jorgamo popping off entirely. That's 4 in a round for him.
And EG look excellent there on the defensive round. I mean, they just have plans on plans. It's another round where Ethan's fragment grenade finds incredible value and shuts down Lysor trying to make a play. Denied the spike plant in the prior. This time, takes down the lockdown. And then they just hold on to backside.
My ult's ready.
Swinging together, supported by a player from Art if they need it. Make it very difficult for FPX to get really deep back there. FPX are going to take a tactical timeout.
Don't blame them after that. I mean, you had plenty of ults coming into it. Equal guns as well. It felt like the advantage should have been theirs, but...
I think one of the issues for FPX is that they're trying to get through to the sites maybe a little early. I really like the look when they slow the pace down and are just trying to generate picks around the map. It seems like they've actually got quite a few ideas of how they want to do that. You remember the paranoia play from earlier?
Yeah.
You know, any kind of punish on Demon 1 looking to get aggressive. If Berlin's able to call something more slowly, that has some level of, you know, a map control play where they go and take Art or A main or B link, and then they wait for some kind of re-aggression, I think they've got chances of ending up being in an advantageous situation before they even get to the site.
Jorgamo currently leading with the calls, the kills, I should say. It's 2 on his team. And yeah, I think I agree with you there, Josh. You know, slow it down a little bit for FPX on the attack side. Generate the picks. You've shown that you can go toe-to-toe with a lot of the EG players. That prior map kind of proved that, the way they were finding some of these round wins, but now we're seeing again a difference, a change-up. Even one tucked inside his smoke. That's just to deny information in case there was a Sky Flash used deep towards Pillar. Con with a jiggle peek. He misses the timing. Lysor catches him completely unaware.
Right there.
And this level of mid control is where FPX has been finding value. And the push out from Jorgamo could get punished.
They're going to be giving away another weapon, maybe, potentially. No, there's a flash off of it. Tucked to the box there. He's how spamming with the damage. Jorgamo does claim to kill eventually, but he can't quite remove it.
And now Demon 1 is in the position to win or lose this round for EG.
Feeling the heat. There's a... Okay, smoke laid down at least. Does isolate one of the angles, but the tap-tap-tap with a rifle, not enough. Trying to play it quite cautiously enough, though. Is there. He's calm with the aim, resetting it and adjusting enough to just really bring everybody down to their knees and more. The positioning of FPX. Spike not quite planted for them with Berlin up onto this high ground position. Is there an idea from EG? Yeah, just a double face up.
While Demon 1 tears them to pieces. Demon 1 managed to find 3 separate 1v1s with clinical tapping aim and good spray control after a wide swing. That's what they hunted for. They got close last time. EG up 5-1. Great round from Demon 1 here. The way that he just picks FPX apart, isolating his ones instead of allowing them to face him with 2 or 3, taking the utility completely out of the question. And also what a great flash thrown by Ethan there to support Jorgamo on his retake of A main. Ethan's utility continues to be unbelievably good. That might end up being a factor again as Berlin looks for some A control.
I really do rate Ethan as a player. Coming into his event. Timings and positioning, I mean, the consistency is off the charts with that guy. Demon 1 taking a gander into mid is U-Core, who's favored, rips the head clean off. Goodbye to the Jet adversary. And now they're slowing it down again. I quite like this look. You're forcing a response out of EG now that they're a player down.
And the response is to reclear A once more. Ethan still has a flash, but Aang's going to take contact earlier.
Ethan wins the fight out. Aang with potential there to win that one, but now it's a 4v4 point. The reaping, Ethan, he knows that there's a chance that they've But again, that space out towards it. Flash not quite connecting. Still, they want to take the fights towards it. The spacing not good enough. Jorgamo. Oh, he's just beamed them all down where they stand. The spike drop down. The late lurk of Lysor won't be getting too much more value. Here's a jump spot. Just try and force one of these fights through the wall. Follow the traces, and you'll be guided right to a kill. Not a lot of time, though. Jorgamo, how's he finding these, man? The guy is just dominating.
Well, they're not quite looking like they're on track for the clean sweep 13-0, but aside from that one anti-bonus win that FPX was able to put up, it has been clean.
30 seconds left.
FPX are struggling to try and contain these A re-clears from Jorgamo and Ethan. And then also, while I like the slower pace from Berlin at the start of the rounds, when you realize that there's 2 in A main like that, I think you've got to turn up the pace on the art push. There's no use being slow and still contacting through. Use your utility, pop. It's that variety of pace that I think FPX are lacking.
Cross from Lysor. Just want to fight on to Boostio, and Demon 1 couldn't hit the return shot. So, advantage now to FPX.
Another situation where FPX have a 5v4 situation. Can they recover it? Or can they, sorry.
At least convert it, yeah. Grouped up, but now starting to make a bit more noise here with a dog into the back. Jorgamo is weaving in and out of these smokes. Pops up on top of the half wall. He's not scared at all. Being dissuaded there, Ethan. He lets rip the no command. No abilities able to be used here. Com is quite far forward. I mean, this angle is unusual, but it should get traded if FPX play this one together. Nizar doesn't know where he is. He was looking the other way, and Com just removes 2 of them. One more avenue not to be worried about. Paranoia on top of the pull at their feet. Nobody can get past this choke point, and EG are really putting the dampener on any sort of sight hit. Still FPX having a few of these shots, and there's still 30 seconds left to make something happen. It is a 2 versus 2. Ethan alone. Only for now, though. Demon 1 rapidly approaching the position to try and help him out. Ethan, does he know where he is? Here's the TP flash. Dodge to the side, and that's a spike.
Spike down A.
And not far enough forward here. Just watching for it. Flash not connecting. Hopping around the side, but taking far too much damage. That is 7-2-1.
They simply cannot find a way through this A defense. Even when they have a player advantage, the players being able to hold on to backside are dug in. This doesn't help. I mean, whether it was a communication issue or just a lack of awareness from both of those guys coming through art, Com just looked like he was invisible on their screens. They had no clue where he was. You heard it from Potter that the team needed a warm-up, and they were ready to showcase to everybody why Pearl is going to be a very strong map for them in the future for this tournament. They're looking dangerous right now.
Seeing evidence of that. No one breaking the drones, so tagging just the one there. Interesting buy from FPX. I mean, they do still have the blades. You can see it, Yuko's hands.
I got the spikes.
Dog to clear out towards A main. The rest of them looking towards Art, but EG grouped up. They realize they've lost control of mid. You can see that's why they're just holding towards sewers.
But FPX have never pressured B, so they've just left Boostio with his turret and his alarm bot to hold this down.
Yeah, it's a massive,
there's 4 players ready
massive
to collect
rotation,
this.
isn't it? Yeah, EG are just more than ready still. Can you be ready for Yuko? And Berlin combined mind of them. Here's the Hunter's Fury to try and push them back inside the smoke, trying to take that timing through the chaos and the confusion. Com finds 3. The Hunter's Fury beams right down, but the util out in his hands. My man's playing a different game. He doesn't have the gun out. Leaves it to the 1v1. Boostio versus Nizhao. And the repositioning. Boostio almost anticipating it here. Out towards the side. Is the crosshair placement going to be good? Out into the open. Shots missing, but finally it is there. Adjusted in time.
Baby Bear was talking about the fact that Com's ultimates on Sova are just ludicrous. He always seems to manage to get at least 1. How about 3? And then throwing a shock dart instead of swinging with his rifle towards the end. Gotta see this on the replay. Cinematic version as well. Picks up the Jet, who'd taken a little bit of damage from Ethan, and then just as the rest of FPX are funneling through Art, picked off everyone.
Yeah, all softened up.
This is dominant from EG. There are a bunch of teams in the tournament that have loved the changes to Pearl. In terms of getting back to solo smokes, being able to play the Sova and the KO on this map, but it just fits EG like a glove.
Yeah.
And you can tell they've put the effort in.
Looking good for it. FPX, it's disrespect. Not worried about the util. Knife does tag though. Right down, I believe 2 players as well. Going to be giving some information here for EG. Team 1 far forward.
And look at the rotates already. The 0 point spots people in A main. They know that it's not fake presence from FPX. Lockdown used. Ethan sprinted his way over, and Demon 1 once more.
I mean, he is so close to this corner. There are many players waiting for them. Can they anticipate it? 2 ripped away, and Ucore does get the trade in time, but this is still desperation for FPX, finally making their move across, but tagged up by the drone. Ethan, it's an absolute firing range for him, and the rest of EG, look at it. All the util in the world, enough to set them up for a slam dunk finish.
Brent, I was speaking to Boostio and Potter before the tournament began, and they shared with me that one of the greatest strengths for Evil Geniuses has been the addition of that reserve roster, because they run scrims and trials and drills, more importantly, against that kind of sister team repeatedly. A defense, A defense, A defense, A defense. This is a drill at this point.
Oh, yeah.
FPX are not really showing anything new or different. They're just hammering their heads into the brick wall that is the EG defense on A.
No intention from FPX to go towards B. That conditioning into mid. Demon 1, what was that set up with? It felt like maybe a left-click flash from Ethan. Nobody blinded up, so first kill advantage going FPX's way. They've had a few of them so far in this half. Yeshu has been taking it one step further. Drone is going to be good here to get clearance. That's 2 players spotted and suddenly instant information.
Combine that with the 0 point information and they can be very sure that it's just another art pushed away. So this is where round 11, Berlin's got to call something different. You just can't be doing the same stuff over and over. It's another re-clear. Jorgamo and Com this time instead of Ethan.
And EG are going to be getting a ton of information. They have left mid completely open though, so you can see the positioning of the EG players. Just watching just in case there is that deep lurk. They don't know. Currently the Ucore will be sitting. But he is isolated essentially on an island while the rest of his team now just starts to work their way into B.
So many good ways that FPX can close this out. The Cosmic Divide in particular.
There's a lockdown though to slow down the approach. Anything to break this one. I mean, the Killjoy utility has already just slowed them down to a crawl. Berlin going for the plant out wide. No control of any other areas of the map. The Cosmic Divide is perfect. Splits it up. Detainment online here. And EG now setting themselves up for this reflank attempt. Double pushed up together. There's a flash on top of it. Jorgamo, would he anticipate it? No. With the reset, this guy is just phenomenal right now. He's feeling it. And more. Still, it is just up to him. It's a 1v2 while all this was happening in Ayang. It's going to be the second round on the board off the back of that.
Last round before the switch.
Finally, FPX sent things in another direction and they're rewarded for it. I like the idea from Jorgamo there. I love the 180 jump peak, anticipating the flash, I think. These rounds are few and far between from FPX. Relying on big punishes of Demon 1 in the early round, and then heavily relying on Ayang and Lysor to be able to do the majority of the heavy lifting in the frag department.
Last round of this first half, so we see FPX get one more in the back pocket.
Com's got an Odin. God help them if they end on A.
He's going to be holding towards the back section, yeah. Into dugout, but it's mid-control. That's the aim of this start. Berlin calling for it. They have taken up control of the connector. They haven't broken the turret yet, though.
And one of the issues, I think, Brent, is that they just don't leave people over towards the top of B at the start of these rounds. You know, they would love to be set up for some kind of B split, but they don't know if Demon 1's been pushed up deep over towards B. And they don't have any presence in that area. Okay, Berlin is just using his ultimate there to clear the way for Nisha to take A main.
Seekers as well on top of it. It's all layered up. Com is going to be spotted out here. Yeah, the Seekers, I believe. No, not quite latching onto him. He's just trying to spray Lysor all the way through. Demon 1 over the top. Updraft. A flash in play, everybody blinded up, going for another bite of the apple. Demon One, he's feeling it. Precise form, close to the corner here. There has to be that reposition. Ayang with a back to it, man. Maybe expecting that the side was clear. The Cosmic Divide did break this one up entirely. Dash forwards. Who knows what's going on this side and across the board, but Demon One still landing it with the Blade Storm. Left up to Ni's Hao. Damage definitely being done. Yeah, no pull, only the stun. Connects there. Ethan already getting half. Has to get off of it. Stunned up, and Ni's Hao collects. There's your clutch.
And a brief glimpse of light towards the end of a very dark tunnel there. That was a serious amount of rounds in a row, 7 for EG before FPX could finally answer in rounds 11 and 12. Scrappy and messy in the rounds that they won. It would be such a journey uphill to be able to pull this back into a winnable situation.
Yeah, when you consider that FPX started on their favorable side, you know, the attack sides where they're getting so much value. And now staring at that, I mean...
Good way to end it, though, with the Red Bull clutch.
Yeah, it certainly is. Maybe it's possible, maybe it's doable. But let's send it down to the desk, see what they have to say.
Thank you very much, Sideshow and Bren. EG, we talked about how maybe they weren't fully warmed up on map 1, but 9 rounds there, Mimi. That is more than enough.
It's really impressive out of EG. I think they're playing this new comp really well. I especially loved how they were re-clearing space in mains in the mid round. I think Ethan in particular, his util did a really good job to push for that one. And FPX initially really struggled. They were getting punished constantly by those re-clears, but it was these big clutch moments at the end, Baby Bay, to kind of salvage that half.
Yeah, which is surprising because they had like the first blood in so many of these rounds, and we're just like, we're up here and we're like, oh, they got a first blood, they're gonna lose again. It's like, it doesn't make sense, you know, that they're not able to convert these rounds, like, or some of these rounds at least, but really well played by EG, especially on that A site. Like, Jojimo just going completely bonkers in that pit area, just getting 4Ks on 4Ks on 4Ks, and yeah.
I could give you the exact stat, actually. They got 8 first bloods, only converted 3, and most of that was because, Mimi, they didn't get the first blood onto Demon One or Jojimo, and they were just there to clean up.
Yeah, these two guys were ridiculous in the late round for this team. Demon One in particular. I mean, we always talked about how he wasn't fully showing up the way he was in Americas at Tokyo, but the team still went into the finals there, and here it looks like Demon One is just so comfortable on the stage. Also, Jojimo, Astra player, dropping 400 ACS on Astra. That's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, he's a freak. I like you would have never like expected him to be doing this stuff if you were to like be like a year ago. It's just insane that he's like this good on controller.
Yeah, it's ridiculous what these guys are pulling off on stage. Now the question is really, again, for FPX, how does this work now that they change sides with this double controller composition? I think EG on Ascent did a good job on their attack of what limited we saw of it, of slowing things down and being able to pull out some of those smokes. FPX, I think their comp strength does come in those retakes, which I feel like they were never in position to do so. It has to start with a pistol round, though, if FPX wants a chance to come back.
I mean, they got 8 first bloods. If they get 8 first bloods again and convert those rounds, you do the math. But Bren and Sideshow, let's jump into the second half and see if they can indeed pull this back.
Let's find out. It's going to be 9-3. Giggling, aren't you? We'll find out, though.
I want to see what the pistol round looks like, to be honest with you. EG looking like they want to take very early control of B-Long.
And Drone's going to get that tag as well on the deep angle here. Yuko, they now it looks like EG are opting in to try and fight this one.
Uh-oh.
Plenty of presence here, but Berlin's close to the corner, just spamming it out, anticipating that re-swing, and they have the util to clear them out of the positions, flushing them out.
Really good utility usage there from Com and from Ethan.
Bot coming back.
You can tell that EG have a great idea about what their protocols want to be.
And so much damage being done there. Demon One, how's he finding that? I mean, wasting bullets in the moment for the disrespect. You're kidding me, man. I mean, you think he's going up against Fnatic in the final?
Someone in the crowd not happy about that as well.
Yeah, not surprised. Close though. Ayang, that flash is very good and almost enough of the reset to claim the other kill. And here's how he's been set up potentially for success. It's a 1v2. They don't know he's repositioned this one, and this plan out in the open with enough damage done. Demon One will fall, and he's out left alone. Going down there to Jogamo. Can he win this pistol round out? Not a tap, a full stick. Jogamo going for that plant. Lands it.
Continuing the form that he had in the first half. Ridiculous play by Jogamo. He takes that opening duel, knows that Nicho's going to expect a fake plant, and he just sticks it. And then swings out one taps with the go.
Spike down.
Really drilled way of approaching B, though. They recognized the resistance, avoided the defending utility, and then tore them apart with the Sovereign KO nade.
At this point, just looking at really all the bits and pieces that EG have thrown together and prepped for their Pearl, because economy advantage is theirs. Should be the next few rounds going their way, unless we see some miracle moments out of FPX. You never know with the Sheriffs. But look at how diligent EG are. I mean, the smoke comes up. They're using util to clear out any sort of corners. Might be hiding in. A lot of presence being showcased. I like this by FPX, a reclearance into A main, but
it's very late in the round, though.
It's very late, yeah.
40 seconds into the round, and they're reclearing A main, despite the fact they've already heard at least 3 players down B long. They're going to be so far away from being able to help Yukor and Iso.
Pearl is a big map.
They're on the opposite side.
You've got to get a jog on, honestly. Any chance of it. There's that flash again. Sails right through, sets him up with the updraft. Here's a shot, though. Fired off through Yukor, weaving in and out. Lysol not able to survive amidst all of this one, and the smokes, again, just setting it up for the one-way.
That A-main reclear has turned into a double flank. So if there was anybody to save this round and save the map potentially for FPX, it'd be Berlin and A-Young.
Maybe a timing to be taken here. Yeah, Jogamo, he was absolutely in the astral form. Dropped down to 50 health. Closer to the corner now with a reposition. Flash up close, fully blinded up. Have to try and get these kills. A-Young, you just can't hit it with the classic. Players, there was damage done, but EG pretty much wrapped up this round now. It's looking at that 11th under the belt. Maybe a bit of that economic damage here. Is how, but yeah, his approach, I mean the positioning, noted and taken care of.
There were openings, there were certainly chances, but FPX couldn't capitalize, and the score sits at 11-3. I've never seen a comeback from this score before, so it'll be all wrapped up, guaranteed.
Yeah.
No problems whatsoever.
Live manifestation of the egg curse. He's trying for it.
FPX are going to take a timeout here, but at the moment it looks like EG are very diligent in terms of at least the way that they're exploring towards B. What I'm looking for really here on the attack side is to see how deep it goes for Evil Geniuses. You know, do they have a lot of different ideas about approaching the A side of the map? Do they have different trap plays perhaps on, you know, catching somebody in the center of the map? There's definitely ways that you can pinch people that are playing in mid.
If you're EG, they might just start opting in to just keep hitting B, honestly. It's
Yeah,
been working for them.
Exactly, and in games like this, when you're up 11-3 and it's the very start of a tournament, first time that you've showcased a brand new composition, you want to try and keep as many cards close to your chest as possible, I think. You know, EG are going to be thinking about, yeah, I mean, of course we want to win, but we're 8 rounds up. If we can win by just hitting B repeatedly and never show what we've got across the rest of the map, that's the perfect situation for them.
So FPX's timeout. Looking for a chance back in, but at this point, honestly, strategy doesn't save you from this. You need to pull up the bootstraps. Adjustment with the mental. Shots need to be hit. Turning point needs to be found. Maybe they can do it.
It's going to be extraordinarily difficult. The defense side weaker for them on Pearl, but within China winning still about 55% of the time.
Yeah.
Not quite as poor as their Ascent defense, but a long, long way to go if they want to make this even competitive.
EG opening this up nice and slow to begin with. Definitely emphasis placed into mid. You can see a flash lineup. Ethan, that's going to go straight into double doors. Shock Dart close, clears out, I believe, Ivrity Lambot on a Nana Swarm. I saw trying to replace it right in his face. There it is, the Paranoia. Beautiful work from FPX. That is very fast in terms of the response. They have crunched the mid approach almost instantly. And with that, the spike drop down, is Com left in an impossible scenario. The task ahead of him. Good luck.
Not a particularly winnable 1v4 with the spike down. I like the idea from EG, actually. It falls completely flat on its face. But usually you're going to see the defending player there back off instead of step into the fight. And that was the perfect response to deal with Demon 1. No thought of even checking spawn. Not even a thought in A-Young's head.
No. on the big stage.
You didn't need to do it to her. You didn't need to.
It gives them saving the weapon to just commit humiliation.
Oh, in a round that, I mean, Com had no chance of doing anything there other than embarrass A-Young a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay.
It's hyped up EG.
Its spirit's still high, obviously.
I don't know why EG have started beef with China.
Yeah, I
literally do not know why.
That just feels like you're never going to win that. I
agree.
You're just never going to win that. It's like going to war with just, I don't know, like physics. It's just, you know, it's cemented, man. Now here we go, fight. Taken by EG though, plenty of bodies as well to clean that one up, so just a 1-for-1.
Oh, Lysor, he took 124 across the map.
Bloody hell.
Just dropped down to a single point of health, and that's going to waste the entirety of A-Young's heal, but at least he'll be brought back up to full. No shields, however. Won't survive another one of those. Speaking of which, Nisha on his own towards A. That's where the rest of EG are gathering up at 4v4.
Right here.
Oh, Spike. Perhaps not.
Second guess themselves a little bit, yeah. I mean, just sending in the dart, got broken. Now running all the way back over towards B. There's still util waiting to be used here. Another star drop down, so Jorgen was going to be probably using this to recall and pass. Just to the side, yeah.
And you can see pings coming out here. I'm expecting Com to use his Hunter's Fury. You can see him setting up for it.
Yeah, it's going to clear all those corners as this push starts to come through. Now right into action, into the fray. Nana Swarms drop down on top of it. Hunter's Fury, good connection with the kill. But Ayang's still alive. Into the back section of Horse. The Seekers let rip as well just to buy a bit of time out in the open. Ethan does not get off that. And time now is really against them. Down to the final 11 seconds out into the open with the dog. Hot on the heels of Com. It sets up the easy fight here.
Great response from FPX there. Doubled up in backhauls, A-Young able to stay alive, and Berlin comes through with a paranoia onto the plant spot for him to swing. Well set up. Nice idea that EG failed to deal with, and they're now knocked down to an eco round. It felt certainly like Evil Geniuses were running away with this map, and we're gonna lock out the series very cleanly. But at this point, the scoreline looks set to close just a tad.
Team one gonna seek to open this one up. Yeah, that's a bit of a team flash, but a dart is good. At least a connection onto the two of them. The reposition dash just backwards. No kills there. Berlin, you don't expect that. Some benefits of the Omen in the comp. Just the high ground position perched up. Collecting two. So, EG scrambling. Getting ourselves out of there here, but FPX, as long as there's no mistakes, should be another round for them.
It would have to be a monstrous round from Demon 1 to turn things in EG's direction.
Drone has to be used. They didn't have control out towards B main, just to clear it close in case someone like Ucore was pushed up deep, but they just see the jump spot now. Orb gained as well, looking to say, and waste no time. All the way through, Lysor can hear the footsteps, just taking the timing off of it, and that's a lovely crossfire setup. I mean, all the noise in the world was being made there by EG, so FPX, it's 11-6. That was against a half bite. Got to keep it going now up against the guns.
There's a big difference in terms of people's perception coming out of this match if it ended, you know, 13-5 as it could have done for EG, or even if EG win at the end of this and it's a very close game, it's going to alter the community perceptions a lot of whether or not EG were on a heater at Tokyo, whether they've got that consistency. If they are the big favorites, people are expecting them to be in Group B.
They've got an operator in the hands of Ucore. Might be the difference maker. Their setup, so when they run this, they tend to just stack everybody else onto the opposite side wherever he is. Into double doors now. See what Lysor can do. That flash, he's ahead of it actually. Doesn't blind him for too much longer. Revealed this recon absolutely lit up. Has to back away and respect that one, but here we go. There was an attempt by Jorgamo to try and take some space towards B, and he was punished. All that ground gained.
That's a massive loss too. Without the Astra, you don't have the pullback smokes to be able to cross B effectively. You can't really take space down B main and challenge Ucore, unless you just planted a wide swing, which would not be a good idea. I think that's going to free up FPX a lot. They know that this fight is going to be coming through either towards mid or A main. Nishao and Aiyang are about to take a fight.
Yeah, go back into position.
I'm
There's
not
a
sure
dart
they're
back
ready
online.
for this.
I mean, Aiyang's holding the flash. Off of whose contact, though? Maybe a form of utility. Nishao close to the corner, finds it. There's the flash. It's impeccable.
Perfect.
Damage is there.
One enemy remaining.
Absolutely perfect. EG were not ready for it.
30
Just
seconds
walked
left.
straight into the trap setup. Lovely idea from FPX. Taking that space and setting up the trap. All just based off Ucore having the control of B long.
Yeah, at this point you just got to save this rifle. FPX have done enough here. The legwork, the groundwork, all laid out. FPX 11-2-7. That was a flawless round, so now the economy's going to get built up. EG dropped down to weaker by once more. Josh, you said 11-3. Never seen a comeback from that before.
Never in my life.
And we'll still hold you to that.
This is a lovely little play, though. I'm impressed. FPX have really come out with some decent ideas. I think there's obviously still... There's obviously still some holes in their game, and they're struggling to keep up a little with what EG were throwing at them, especially in the first half. But there are glimpses of some nice ideas. It's about stringing those together consistently.
Are up and in their face. That's a tag onto Ucore, the one target they did want. The operator pushed back and away. Cosmic Divide as well. Ultimate committed here by EG, despite the fact that they don't have the guns for it on top of the angle. Even a lockdown thrown into the mix. This feels very all in by EG. This is almost every ult that they've got at their disposal here. You have to respect this if you're FPX. Backing away. We'll give the plan over.
But now you're playing a post-plant setup with only Sheriffs and a Marshal. There's been some damage done to Nishao, but for the rest of it, how does EG expect to win this situation?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, you're going to have to hit some shots here. Use all those ults to get into it, but essentially you've used everything at your disposal. Still pull onto it, but Demon One's cleared out towards back halls now.
I mean, the Cosmic Divide
so
has just
many
locked them
smokes
off.
in their face. Yeah, I mean, they can't do anything right now. They have to push past this one here. Right through into the corner. There's a shorty in their face, man. And Berlin can just stick this one all the way through. Your guys feeling it. Flash deep into the corner. Everybody blinded up. Not a chance. And this is, not gonna lie, Josh, a bit of a crumble. EG, that was such a heavy investment.
I really don't understand how they thought they were going to be able to win that in the post plan. I think perhaps there was some kind of idea there of dragging out ultimates from the other side, but I don't get it, to be honest with you, Bren. That's 5 rounds in a row now from FPX. And this one in particular, you can't be mad that they lost the round because they came in with only Sheriffs, but the ultimate investments have set them up very poorly now.
And it instantly triggers a timeout. Potter having a word with them.
Not happy with what she saw there.
Calm that down immediately.
Because also, the whole of EG set up for long post plants down B long, anticipating that they would be able to take Sheriff duels at distance against the rifles, perhaps. But the Cosmic Divide just completely shut that idea down. Maybe EG getting ahead of themselves here, just wanting to close the game out after the 9-3 half, thinking it would be simple, rushing things.
Definitely felt like that to me.
Yeah. Com is going to be one away from his Hunter's Fury though, Brent. So they still have one ultimate that's going to be useful for them. The issue with that is that usually, I think, he would be worried about utilizing that. Lysor has lockdown on the other side. So do you want to use it early to generate a pick or get through to the site? Do you want to use it to stop a retake from happening? Usually I think EG tend to be proactive with them rather than reactive.
It's going to be an early clash, so it seems. FPX almost gathered up and set up. Looks like that util is going to be used with the intention of getting Ucore on the angle with the operator, but there's going to be a lot of players on the other side of things here. Look at Demon One, he's all the way over the top. It's a dart with the flash all combined up. Does Ucore realize he's crossed here? I mean, the angle now has closed it up, opens it up now again, once more to try and re-clear onto the corner. This is so damn dangerous. The dash is going to be fading away here, and with the drone in his face, got to respect this one. Meanwhile, in mid, what is occurring? Stuns and util. It's boundless right now. Nishao wants a piece of the action as well. Fully grouped up. There's a kill. Is that a response? Nathan cannot turn in time. Nishao bringing down Almost all of them here. It's a 3 versus 3. The lockdown's now being invested because the spike was heard dropped out into the open.
And look how FPX scatter to the far reaches. Nishan just completely on his own, looking to try and contest the outside. They're trying to force the fights instead of reinforce their position. This has devolved into a bizarre round. FPX had the spike down, had mid control, and now they have no idea where EG are. Not a clue.
I said earlier, Josh, I wanted to see a bit more silliness. I found it. At this point, this round is all over the place.
But just after FPX had won 4 rounds in a row, it's all timing.
Jorgamo just walked up through, all the way down. He's distracted by the sound cue, but Jorgamo falls. 2 versus 2. They know where Lysor is. Do they choose to go into him? Anything to clear this out? It's not quite. And the trade, well, it's on time. But Demon 1 versus Ayang. Time definitely against him. We'll be able to get that plant down, though. The position is not there to try and deny. So an extension of it into the round here. Updraft, up top. And Demon 1 is eager for it. Trying to take the jewel, but fully blinded up, narrowly avoiding. 70 health to his name. A slight tap, but Demon 1's too good. It's 12-8. Took a lot to get them there. I wouldn't be celebrating like that, mate.
These rounds are looking messy. I mean, that one in particular was all over the place. Definite opportunities for either team to win it. Lysor did a great job there at finding the timing. And I thought Ayang had done enough. With a little pop flash around the corner, he read the updraft perfectly. He knew exactly where Demon 1 was positioned. But he just couldn't quite land the shot. Can EG close this out? Or are things going to get even more dangerous?
A few chances to do so, but maybe that was the hurdle they were waiting for. Just need one more round. Same util that's being used here. The drone into a main, a bit of a flash clearance. Hunter's Fury, that's a huge tag. Damage definitely being done, and there's the impetus. The push attempt, EG to putting the squeeze entirely on the bullet. He's got the timing. He's into a main as well. They don't have a clue. Inside, the smoke patience is shown for just a moment. Here's the orb. Comb returns fire. And the trade online, EG with a massive player advantage now, and this should be the finisher.
Lysor and Ucore got it all to do in the 2v4. 2 players stuck at default.
Spotting
Can they
out.
make anything of that?
Through into main, Ucore missing his shot. They'd have to just cleave down. Multiple of them find these openings. However they can. Demon 1's repositioned, and yep, facing it all together, 13-8. Scoreline for man number 2. Not the cleanest of affairs for EG, but it does get them that match win.
Of course, when Boostio was saying earlier they were going to get 8, he of course meant 13-8, 13-8.
That's each map.
Yes, of course. Well,
yeah.
The first round of this has gone Boostio 1, China 0, but not exactly in the way that I think he was expecting. FPX came up here with some nice ideas and some big performances from individuals to actually make EG work for it.
Yeah.
A little more than I think most of us were expecting. You had 2 halves there out of the 4 that were very competitive, the first and the last.
Stuff to work on for sure as well. I mean, just really hammering home the point, the champs, there's no team here that's undeserving. Anybody can be pushed. Anyone can win on any given day.
And for EG, for the team in front of you there that have just taken their victory, I believe that there were some big questions coming into this group stage in general. How much of a heater was the team on at Tokyo?
Yeah.
How much consistency are they going to be able to deliver with here at Champs? What does the form look like of Demon 1? Some of these we've got small amounts of answers to. It wasn't the cleanest of performances. We're still going to have to see how EG tackle against Foot. But Demon 1 individually looking pretty good.
Jorgamo in that final map as well.
Looking very good.
Very, very good in terms of that individual form. But that is the series wrapped up. We're going to send it back over to the analyst desk to break it all down and set us up for that last series of the day. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Sideshow and Bren. It was a 2-0 for EG in the end. I got Mimi and Baby Bay back here with me. I think most people would have predicted the 2-0, but Baby Bay, FPX on Pearl, they made them work hard for it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a fake comeback, but I was happy with what I saw. And, even on Ascent, if a couple things go differently and they just clean up their play a little bit more, the team has a lot of potential, seriously.
and you can hear what it means already. EG, they had their breakout at Tokyo, but this is their opportunity to make a run at home. It wasn't clean, but as Potter was saying, I think this was kind of the warm-up match they needed to get back into the swing of things. Some mistakes on the second half of Pearl, but they really started looking really clean in the first half. I think implementing this composition really well, re-clearing space super effectively on their defense, and they're kind of back on their same thing as Tokyo, where they're so consistently strong with these pistol rounds, with getting that earlier momentum, which was such a big moment for them to make that run happen.
I also think, I know, it wasn't the cleanest, but the fact that they closed it out, they didn't actually drop a map, it was still a 2-0. Baby Bay, I think it also speaks volumes on the fact that this team, they're not here to mess around. They're not going to drop any maps they don't need to drop.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Potter played a huge role in this. Like, we saw that one round on that Pearl map where they just dropped 3 ults on an eco round. We're just like, what's going on? Like, why are they doing this? Potter takes that time out, gets them back into things they just went out, right? So like, this is going to be a crucial part of them, and I'm happy that they won, honestly.
Yeah, and already seeing them change up some of their style, change up some of their compositions. On Pearl, they're moving away from the Harbor Viper as well. I think does bring up questions to what Potter was talking about in that interview of what else does this team have prepped. She keeps saying that the big focus was on the map pool, on coming up with new ideas and expanding further from what they had at Tokyo. So I think that does make this EG maybe even more of a threat than they were before, because they are still kind of an unknown quantity.
Yeah, I agree. I also quite like the Sova myself. I don't know how you guys felt.
Com's just so good at it.
Yeah, it was pretty
3K
good.
that he got?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it was indeed, but I believe that is enough from us for now. Let's pass the mic over to Golden Boy, who is standing by with Boostio in the Verizon post-match interview.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Evil Geniuses and Boostio! Woo! That has to feel pretty good,
Feels
right?
very good.
I mean, considering how the season went, everyone was doubting you guys, and now look, you could just do anything and everyone will cheer. You should test it. Try it out. Woo! Sorry to the headphone users back at home. In any case, so let's go ahead and talk about this series here, because coming into it, you had some very choice words. You know, you said that they wouldn't get more than 8, but I hate to break it to you, buddy. They kind of did that twice.
Yeah.
So how much egg is on your face right now?
A whole lot. I played like shit, so I feel kind of bad about it.
That's a fine. I'm kidding.
But I think I played pretty bad overall, but my teammates hard carried me. They all played amazing, and I'm just happy we got the dub.
Hey, dude, I mean, it looked like FPX were giving you a run for your money for sure, though. It's certainly a competitive team, but one has to wonder, right? Coming into Tokyo, you guys were the ultimate underdog story. Now you're here, you're in LA, the home crowd, people losing their mind for you. And you ain't the underdog anymore. So how does that feel? How do you, are you guys still carrying that underdog energy with you?
Yeah, I think we're still I think people still think we're the underdog compared to like these top teams, like maybe like a DRX Fnatic, PRX with something. So it does feel like we're kind of the underdog still, but at the same time, we've gained so much confidence that we're just ready to play.
Yeah, dude, I mean, and it definitely shows in the gameplay. You guys all seem to have each other's back at the absolute perfect moment. And I think that leads me to yourself as a player. I know you said you didn't play particularly well, won't use the colorful language. But, you know, that being said, how do you feel like you have grown as a player? And also, what were some of the things that you were focused on getting prepared for this event in comparison to Tokyo?
Yeah, I think I just improved on my calling, to be honest, as an IGL. I had a lot of reads against them today that won us a lot of big rounds, and it felt really good on the
Were there any
attack side.
inspirations you had for calling that you were trying, or just listening back to what you were calling before?
I know how they play, and I just knew some of the things they were going to do. Both the coaches, prepped me very well for it, and then the rounds worked when I called them, so it was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it looked great. Obviously, a few rounds there didn't go the way that you wanted, but without a doubt, though, it seems like this Evil Genius team is here to play. Now, coming up next, so you are going to have FUT. They made quite the run against T1 earlier on today. How do you feel about that squad? How do you feel about yourself versus them? Because it feels like they're playing with no fear like you guys did in Tokyo.
Yeah, I think they're really good, to be honest. I dropped 35 on them last time, so I think we're going to, destroy them. But
so you're going to drop 40?
I hope so. That'd be nice.
Hey, Boostio, my brother, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much, guys. Give it up one more time for Boostio and Evil Geniuses. We'll catch you in a little bit.
It's the team that defied all expectations versus the team that we don't really know what to expect. But let's not forget, EG, they've been on the side where everybody underestimated them and they had to pay the price. So surely they know not to underestimate them.
We the best in the